What's up, everybody? It's another late happy night. Wow.
Let's start over. Let's start over.
It's another late happy hour night for Wakanda Whiskey and Blurredom.
It's another late night happy hour Wakanda Whiskey and Blurredom. That's what you meant to say. There you go.
And I haven't even started drinking yet. That's
exactly.
All right. So I'm your host, Paul, and with me, as usual, is my man Marc.
What's going on? No, I'm not P-Dub. You're P-Dub.
You can never get your stuff lined up. I mean, all right. That's fine. So what's going on, man? I haven't talked to you since last time we did this.
Yeah, nothing, man. Nothing at all. Just a beautiful day here in Atlanta. I found the whiskey that I was looking for. The last show that we had was about 2 weeks ago, I think. And there's a whiskey that I had called Smoke Wagon. I don't remember which expression it was, but there's one specifically that I was looking for that I was able to find. And it is called Smoke Wagon Uncut Unfiltered. Right here. And I've heard nothing but good things about it. I've not smelled it or tried it.
You have not opened it yet?
No, it's been open because I put my spout in here, but I haven't, tasted it or anything of that nature. But this is the one that I was looking for. The one that I had a couple of weeks ago was very, very good. But this is the one that initially brought this brand to my attention. And gave it its first pour. Are you still drinking on that Sable?
I am, but I bought another bottle of something else.
Okay, hold on. Oh, it's got a very floral smell to it. Little spice. Let's see.
What kind of spice?
Okay, you know what? This isn't bad, but I liked the other one better. It's got a peppery taste to it. It has a little bite. It's not bad, but to be quite honest with you, I liked the other one better. But this is okay. This is all right. The other one is definitely better. I'm not using any ice today. I'm using these whiskey cubes to put in here to keep it nice and cool for me. I should have got some water in here so I could add a little water to open it up.
All right. Well, let's say what's up to everybody in the chat. What's up, everybody? AJ, greetings to you. Marwan Williams, good evening, fam. Eclectic Blurty Nietzsche. That character's always got the best questions for us. Love his questions. And you're absolutely right. Please, we don't have a lot of people watching this yet, but please hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed to Black Comic Lords. It helps to let us get the algorithm going our way and expand the show. So I could not find any. Well, I didn't go shopping for new whiskeys. I didn't have time. I went to the supermarket. Next to the supermarket has its own liquor store. They don't really have a great selection. The only black-owned whiskey they had was Uncle Nearest, which I've had before. Although I don't remember if I ever reviewed the Uncle Nearest 1856 on here or not. But
I think a long time ago we did, I think, but don't quote me.
Okay. But I did pick up
because we've had the rye, we've had this one right here. Well, you haven't had this one yet.
I have not had that green label one.
Okay.
Yeah. But yo, expensive paper with the 1999 super chat. 1999.
Don't do that.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. And with that, we will give you something that I can't find because I don't have a producer. Because I do it all, but I still do it. Appreciate it. Love is loved. Please, anyone else who feels like giving us some blessing tonight, it helps us to pay the bills. We ran out of space on our hard drive, so I don't even know if we can even record this episode. We're streaming it. We don't even have a hard drive. Look, we need the money. So really appreciate that, fam. Anyway, I picked up instead And I don't even remember if I've had this one on the show before, but Florida Straight Bourbon from the St. Augustine Distillery. Now I had a black owned distillery out of St. Augustine before that was called Fort Mose. But this is actually St. Augustine Distillery.
Wasn't St. Augustine a black town? Was that?
Well, no. Well,
okay.
It was basically the first. It was a fort that was the first settlement in Florida.
Okay.
It did have a very large black population, slaves afterwards, but yeah.
I thought it was one of those black towns that was destroyed, like Rosewood or Black Wall Street or something.
Oh, we have a plethora of those here.
Well, of course, but I thought St. Augustine was one of them. But okay.
Let's pour this. It says here in the advertisement, our straights 44%, 88 proof. Our Florida Straight Bourbon is made from a mash bill of 60% Florida corn, 22% barley, 18% Florida wheat, and aged a minimum of 3 years. We do not chill filter our bourbon. Rather, we do as little filtration as possible. This is a classic Florida bourbon. The color is dark honey amber. Check. Nose deep and warm with notes of toffee, cinnamon, marshmallow, leather, stone fruit, vanilla, and dark cocoa. Oddly enough, I do smell all those. I don't smell the leather.
Do you have pour spouts or no?
Not up here. I have ones for some wine glasses. I guess they'd probably work in these too. Taste full-bodied, deep, and complex hints of tobacco, caramel, Brazil nut, chocolate, and baking spices. Well, let's see. I really should have left this bottle open so I could breathe a bit before I got started tonight. It's nice. Smooth. Sweet. Fruity, citrusy, with some honey. This is nice. It's a good. This is nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm somewhat disappointed in this one in comparison to the one I had a couple of weeks ago. I was really expecting something phenomenal from this one. I can't say that I would recommend this one. The other one that I had 2 weeks ago, that one was really, really smooth. This one is just okay. But if you want pour spouts, I don't know how large your bar is or how much whiskey or alcohol you have on your bar. I've got probably like 30 bottles. But you can buy these pour spouts that come in packages of like 12 or so on Amazon for like $10 or so. 10 or 12 bucks.
So, hey, shout out, your favorite artist, Kanan White.
Kanan, what's going on, Doc? How you doing?
Bo Biggs in the house. Appreciate you. Raven L. Dupree, what up?
What's going on?
My boy Amir, what up? Cheers. Drinking a Modelo Negra and smoking a Sancho Panza Double Maduro cigar. Nice.
But also before we get started, I wanted to show you guys this. So I don't know what I was watching.
You really gonna show us that? You're gonna show,
of course. Something that I saw on Instagram probably, but basically what this is, you see it has like a little topper thing like the pour spouts. And what you do is you just put this in your whiskey or wine bottle, hit the top button, and it's a light. And I thought this was really cool. It was probably like $20 or so. I'm like, hell, why not? Just something so I can decorate a bottle that I don't want to throw away or whatever. So I got
to try it. I'm curious to see what it looked like with a bottle that actually had whiskey in it.
Okay, that's a dark bottle. Next time I'll definitely try that. And it's got like three different light settings. So anyway, that's that.
My birthday is in a few months, so
King
Sigma. I'm on that Uncle Nearest 1884. I almost bought that for tonight, but I've had it before. I just don't remember if I had it on the show. So I may still buy that next time if I was not able to order some more, some whiskey. King Sigma with the super sticker, $10. Appreciate it. Help us pay these damn bills. The taxes have not been paid yet. We appreciate you.
Show me the money. Yeah! Louder! Show me the money. I need to feel you, Jerry. Show me the money. Jerry, you better yell. Show me the money. I love black people.
Winning performance.
Rest in peace to Hector Ayala. Man, we're going to talk a little bit about that if we have the time. I'd like to talk about that. Hector is White Tiger is a bigger character. Character than most people realize. He stood for a lot. I hope we have enough time to get into it. Your boy Kanan White showing you some love. Love the channel and love what you guys do, shedding light on artists of color. Very inspirational as always. Thank you, brother. Appreciate
Thanks a lot, Kanan. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you always showing up and throwing your support to us too.
Real quick, for those who don't know, I became familiar with Kanan. I probably mentioned it before, but there is a book called Uber, which is an alt-world storyline set during World War II, where there's basically an arms race between superpowers. You know, the Nazis have their superpower soldiers, America, the Allies, et cetera, et cetera. And that's when I first became familiar with and enamored with Kanan's work, and I've loved it ever since. So the fact that you're here, man, really does my heart proud. Thanks for being here, man. Seriously.
Appreciate you, bro.
Donation. It's a donation. I thought it was the trash. Don't be hitting on me.
Thank you.
That's appreciate it. All right. Let's see. We got 100. Yo, that light is dope. It is dope. That's why I'd like it for my birthday. This cheap bastard. Okay. Anyway, 30 bottles.
Don't judge me, John. I feel judgment coming through the screen. Yes, 30 bottles. What? Is that a problem?
That's kind of judgment worthy, though. I mean,
yeah, no, it's not. It's a bar. That's what bars do. You have liquor on bars. So
yeah, when you have people in your household, it's just you, dude. I mean, 30 for one person.
I live here, but people are allowed to come over. The door does open. You realize that, right? Okay.
Hey, I mean, whatever you say, bro. Nice bottle light. Everybody loves the bottle light, man.
Right. It's on Amazon. I don't remember what it's called. I'll probably share it with Paul here in a second, and then he can put it up there if he wants or whatever. But it was really cool. And I thought you nerds would like it as well. Damn. Thanks, John.
Thomas with another super chat, helping us pay these bills. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Kanan White says thank you and honored. We gotta get Kanan on the show, man.
Yes.
Kanan's doing some big things. Over there at Rippaverse, he is the art director. Besides just being one of the greatest artists in comic books, he is directing the art on Rippaverse, which has been a very successful comic book company. Shout out to RecastTChalla for doing his thing. He said he wanted to do it his way. He said he wanted to do independent comics, and threw a middle finger to Marvel and DC and the lackluster comics that he felt they were doing, and decided to do it his own thing. I respect that. So he's the art director for that. We got to bring the brother on the show sometime.
Absolutely.
And Friday,
Thorn.
our boy Jeffrey Thorne, fellow Black Comic Lord, in the building, also showing us love. We might actually make our rent this week. Look at that. Is that possible?
That's like $60 in 5 minutes, damn near.
That's appreciate, man. Y'all gonna make me tear up. Got a brother choking up right now. Appreciate the love.
I just
Raven L. Dupree. What's a full run of a comic series you want to complete but haven't yet? I'm working on getting every issue of Sam Wilson, Captain America. I'm a few issues away.
Let's save that question for later on at the end. Let's eventually get into the book.
I'll star that question.
Yeah. But real quick, I sent the information.
Damon Watson coming at you live from Atlanta, fellas. What's up with you, good brother? So Damon lives in Atlanta. Okay, Damon's an attorney. He was working at the public defender's office. He moved recently. I forgot where he was going, but he's moving to Atlanta apparently, where you're at. So y'all should link up. In fact, I told Damon, I spoke to Damon and told him he needs to link up with you so he can learn about the legal scene in Atlanta, and you can give him the what's what.
Yeah. If memory serves, Damon also went to Morehouse, I believe. I don't remember right now, but I think he did. But real quick, Paul, I sent you the image of the lamp light that I have. It was only $10. Only spent probably like $10, and it's actually on sale right now. So if you guys want it, Paul has that information. Yes.
What's up to Kevin Pitts? And Jeffrey Thorne is going to go walk his dog. We'll see you back in a sec. Let me see if I can pull up this light that everybody seems to be enjoying.
I was trying to find the link, but I couldn't find the link. So you have the description and the picture that I sent, and you can find it from there.
Here we go. Wireless bottle lamp, portable LED wireless bottle lamp with 3 modes, light dimming, rechargeable.
Yep. In fact, that reminds me. Put it
back. It has pictures of it with it actually having liquor in the bottle. So that's cool.
Yeah,
that's dope. All right. So, now that we have done
preliminaries are out of the way. Preliminaries and the greetings.
We go to thing I can't find because I got various thing of Black Comic Lords. We all have our own different shows, and some of the cats on the team, looking at you, Herschel, sometimes move things around and we can't find it. But that's fine. Let's get into our man. Black Panther Wakanda talk. Now, there were no Black Panther issues that came out this week. Shout out to Sherilyn Eaton, Fareed Karami, the last creators who did a run, the Black Panther Blood Hunt run, which, in my opinion, was good enough, more than good enough, to warrant Marvel to greenlight them to continue on as a team with an ongoing series. It hasn't happened yet. All we can do is keep nudging them, and hope they do the right thing and bring those two on. Fareed is currently the artist on Avengers with Jed McKay, and the Avengers team is the only ongoing book in the 616 universe with Black Panther in it. So, and I had a picture here I wanted to show you guys. Black Panther is currently on Sabbatical. Jesus. Sabbatical. This liquor's starting to kick in already. He's currently on sabbatical out in the Meridian Diadem universe prison that he's taking over as a gang leader to do world building. But he's been gone for the last several issues since Black Panther 20, I think it is. And he's not coming back until Avengers 27, which drops June 18th. Return of the Black Panther. While T'Challa was away, the Masters of Evil were at play. With the rest of the Avengers tied up with Dr. Doom, the Masters of Evil have been plotting the downfall of the Avengers from the inside. Can Black Panther's return the tide? Here's the cover. In the background, you can see various Avengers, got lines through them because they've been crossed off the board. Captain Marvel, Vision, Iron Man, Scarlet Witch, Storm is off the board. Can't be happy about that. Cap Falcon is still there, apparently. That's one of the covers. Let's see if there's any other covers. That's all the covers. There are no other covers. All right. What's also odd is, well, maybe not odd, but that's the only other solicit we have for. That's the farthest out solicit we have is issue 27. So hopefully it doesn't mean the book is canceled. They just haven't come out with other stuff yet.
Nah, I don't think so, because Jed McKay is that dude right now.
Jed McKay is that dude. The dude that can write his own ticket right now. We have some other Black Panther stuff I want to talk about. We do have some other Black Panther stuff I want to talk about. Let me bring this up. Give me a second. Be patient with me because I'm doing like 3 jobs here. All right. We recently interviewed Chuck Patton, legendary artist, mostly known for the work he did in DC Comics, but there is some Marvel work he did. Most notably, he did a Daredevil book, Daredevil 245. Now, I've had this book in my collection for years. I think I read through it briefly years ago, but I didn't really get to appreciate it until I was preparing for my interview with Chuck Patton. Now, I'll give you the basic premise of the storyline. Just look at the cover. It's a Daredevil book, but Black Panther's in it. But also is this character named Wheeler, who is the man in the gold outfit. Wheeler, actually, they don't really say that he's Wakandan. With a name like Wheeler, it doesn't sound like a Wakandan name, but he worked with the Wakandans. Specifically, he worked as a soldier for them. He had this suit, and he's flying around. Fancy, indestructible metal from Wakandan technology. That would be vibranium. What a rich little African empire place that was. I sure got paid well to protect that place. So he sounds like he's more of a mercenary, but he was a hero in Wakanda. I remember flying patrol in formation, so proud of our precision and skill. What did the people on the ground think? We must have looked like a bunch of idiot exhibitionists. I single-handedly stopped almost every guerrilla uprising, bucked every terrorist threat. I was fearless. Fearless as only the utterly stupid can be. The Black Panther owned the whole kingdom of Wakanda. Some call him the richest man in the world. T'Challa called himself king. I guess someone has to be king, but looking back on it, he was quite a pompous guy to say it out loud. He's got a lot of anger towards T'Challa specifically. However, here's an interesting part. He was so proud of my courage in battle, he heaped honors on me, even introduced me to his cousin, my Nkoni, Mary. I married her. Why? What was it all building to? And he goes, that was about the time the suit got ripped. I let it get dirtier and dirtier. Then we moved to New York, and I hung it up to collect dust forever. Gambling seemed a safer way to make money. So this guy was a hero in Wakanda. So much so, T'Challa, as you see, was giving him honors. He was very well respected. He had this flying suit. He was part of this Wakandan Air Force. And T'Challa honored him enough that T'Challa allowed him to marry his cousin.
So here's my question: Who's her parents? You know what I'm saying? Because the only sibling that I can recall is Cyan, right?
Yeah, but you can have cousins, extended cousins. It doesn't say if he's a first cousin,
yeah,
second cousin, third
yeah,
cousin.
yeah.
So T'Challa could have a lot of cousins. When we know this from the Jungle Action series, where we met the four musketeers. Right. T'Challa has a bunch of cousins. So this is one of those cousins. It's very interesting because they had a kid, which means there is a royal Wakandan kid out there. But a little bit more about the story. So this guy, as he said, he has a gambling problem. The other thing of note about this particular issue, Chuck Patton did the artwork. And in the very first page, he gives this guy this dope-ass looking Wakandan flight jacket.
Yeah.
That's one of the things this issue is most known for, is that flight jacket, because no one ever seen anything like that. It was just so cool to see. Even has a picture of, Wakandan flag being labeled sort of southern central Africa.
I've seen that panel before, but I don't.
I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have.
I've seen that panel before.
For a while. There was some people that decided, hey, we're going to make replicas of the jacket and sell it on the internet, which Chuck Patton took issue with because they didn't even credit him, let alone pay him on it. Mm-hmm. But at least credit the man and say who designed the design that you're emulating and making money off of. Mm-hmm. Anyway, So this is how Daredevil comes across him, because he sees him as part of the shakedown of this guy. And Daredevil intervenes, and this guy Wheeler, he just kind of lays back in the cut and just watching what's going on. He's watching how Daredevil fights, and he notes, look, this Daredevil's really good. He's a good fighter. He's well trained. He's making sure not to hit the critical points. Back in my day, back when I was in shape, I could give him a run for our money though. Like, he's very confident in his abilities, and apparently was a very, very good fighter. When Daredevil knocks all these guys out, he goes to one of the guys that's knocked out and he steals his money, showing how far he's fallen from grace. T'Challa later on tracks him down at a gambling establishment, and he's trying to make money so he can pay off his debt because he's in the hole. And T'Challa walks in and just gives him money and says, you know, what are you doing, dude? Like, why are you You were once a hero of Wakanda. Now you're on the streets and gambling dens, risking your life. You're not taking care of my cousin. You're not taking care of your son, who's also my cousin. This is crazy. You need to get your act together. And he's like, how dare you, self-righteous rich boy? You don't know what real people problems is like. And T'Challa basically gives him a warning. Get your act together or I'll have to intervene. And that's the discussion they're having here. And he tells him to stay out of his life. T'Challa pays off all his debt, gives him a clean slate. I paid off all your debt. Go get a job. Take care of your family.
Talk about emasculating. Here you
That's
are as a man.
No, that's a good point.
You know, here you are as a man. You are a hero. You're a soldier of fortune, so to speak. You can't take care of your business. You can't take care of your wife. Then some other cat comes in and says, yo, you need to handle your business. Dude has got to feel this small. That's emasculating.
That's very astute that you said that, because that's what leads to it next. What does he do? He tries to get his swagger back. He tries to get his self-respect back. He tries to grab his balls back. He gets his suit, the suit that he loves so much. He could have sold it a while ago and made a fortune. The vibranium in the suit alone would have made him a fortune, but he never sold it. That's how proud he was of the work that he did when he had that suit on for Wakanda. He'd rather, destroy his life with gambling than to just simply sell the suit.
Or get a real effing job.
Or get a real job. So he decides to do the next best thing. I'm going to put back on the suit that made me feel good, and I'm going to knock over a bank to get money.
Because that's what one does.
Because that's what one does. Daredevil tries to stop him, obviously. And he gets to the point where he's hit his absolute low point. He's suicidal. He's like, look, I can either throw myself into the East River and drown myself because the suit's so heavy, I'll just drown. Or we have these police helicopters telling me to, I just knocked over the bank and they're trying to arrest me. I guess if I attack them, they can just shoot and kill me.
Suicide by cop.
Suicide by cop. The problem is when he tries to get himself killed, he's wearing a vibranium suit, so it doesn't work.
Unless they shot him in his mouth.
Unless they shot him in his mouth, which apparently.
I hate that design with these vibranium suits, and you have a vulnerable point. That just makes no sense to me.
So T'Challa intervenes because he gets shot out the sky. His suit's about to explode. And T'Challa's like, just let the dude die. He wants to die, let him die. He's not worthy of my family. He's not worthy of that suit. He's garbage. I paid off all his debt. He's got a problem. He's weak. Just let him die. Daredevil's like, no, that's not what we do. We're heroes. We're supposed to let him. And they fight over saving the guy's life. And then T'Challa's like, look, I'm not a Westerner. In Wakanda, we don't save dudes like that. If you're not a real man, if you can't provide for your family and live your life honorably, and you want to take yourself out, taking yourself out is actually an honorable thing to do given the circumstances. Let the dude kill himself.
That doesn't sound like T'Challa.
It doesn't. I mean, that part was too hard.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
But we understand
that. Listen, we understand that T'Challa is a tactician. He can be heartless when he wants to be, but at the end of the day, he is an honorable, heroic figure. And you and I both have read literally hundreds of books and hundreds of stories with him in it, and this seems to be out of character, in my opinion, for him. I can't say that I like that mindset that's being displayed right here.
Well, and I don't necessarily disagree with you, but they kind of try to explain it where T'Challa's he's pissed off because this guy's disrespecting his cousin. And he gave him ample opportunities to clean up his act, and he still couldn't do it. He still refused to do it. He paid off all the guy's debt. He had no excuses to go back to gambling. And what does he do after all his debt is paid off? He doesn't get a job. He decides to knock over a bank. In his Wakandan armor that Wakanda gave him, and that throws shame on the whole country and the Black Panther, because now the narrative is guy in a Wakandan suit knocks over bank. Let's call Wakanda and hold him responsible.
But are people going to know that it is a Wakandan suit? You know what I'm saying? I mean, here we guys have some black dude in a suit. The regular Joe Schmo isn't necessarily going to understand or know that this is a Wakandan type material. Obviously,
of course,
T'Challa
they'll know it's vibranium. There's only one place that has vibranium.
But
so
your regular average person who sees this guy holding up a bank isn't going to know that, unless it says "Made in Wakanda" on it, which it probably doesn't. So, I understand that you're sitting up here trying to rationalize it or give an explanation.
I'm not rationalizing anything. I'm telling you what the story says. I
understand what the story says, but I don't like how the story is being presented, how this character is normally presented. Just like with the writer who we don't discuss, how he had T'Challa acting, that was out of character for him. And this seems to be out of character for him as well.
So, long story short, the guy decides to get his act together. He decides to go out and get a job. And that's kind of where the story ends. His wife, T'Challa's cousin, had locked herself up away in the bedroom, refused to talk to him for a while. And he went and he said, "Hey, honey, I went shopping. I got a job. I bought groceries. I'm out of debt." He doesn't mention the part that T'Challa got him out of debt, but I'm out of debt. I got a job. I'm not gambling anymore. You see him bawling. He's got tears coming down his eyes in a way that reminds me of Billy Graham, his art.
I have sinned against you.
And he goes,
those
Mary.
Who don't know, Billy Graham was a preacher who got caught with a prostitute.
Billy Graham, that's not the Billy Graham I was talking about. It's what the artist Billy Graham.
Oh, my bad.
The first black artist at Marvel Comics who did Jungle Action. And he goes, Mary, and she goes, I'm right here. And that's where the story ends. So I just thought that was an interesting storyline. It's a one shot. It's a type of storytelling Marvel doesn't really do anymore. This is 23 pages. It's the same page count as we have in comics today, but they covered so much because they had these smaller panels. They did their storytelling with art and exposition. And it worked. And they told an entire storyline in one issue. This is when comics were good. When comics were comics. Where you could drop your 60 cents and you spent your money's worth. You got your money's worth.
What's cover price on this one? Is it 60?
I think it was.
I'm just curious.
60. It was 75 cents.
Ooh. And we were probably complaining about that.
We were probably complaining about that because it jumped up from 60.
Right. Now here's what's crazy. Here's what's crazy though. This is issue 245. I just checked in my collection. I have issue 244 and I have issue 246, which is crazy.
Well, you need to go get this 245. This is a classic story. Good story. It also raises some questions for me. That armor he's wearing, we never saw since. But we saw this. The Midnight Angel's armor. Kind of similarities in the design. The beak-like, bird-like face. The wings. The vibranium armor. A lot of the same principles.
This armor doesn't make sense either. Why do you have your abdomen exposed? You know,
because
I understand with artists and they do
mesh.
Okay, I understand that artists do things to look cool, but at a certain point, you got to be practical. And there's a lot of skin that is exposed here. And yeah, that just doesn't make sense to me because all I see is abs and arms.
You poo-poo on everything. But the point I was trying to make is I wonder when Ta-Nehisi Coates, or more apropos, Brian Steelfreeze, who made this design, came up with this design, if he was inspired by that Chuck Patton design that was done in Daredevil of this type of flying armor, because we didn't see any other flying armor until this. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I wish I remembered this when I saw Brian Steelfreeze a couple months ago at LAX, because I certainly would have asked him about that.
You know what's interesting, real quick, and we're going to talk about it here later on, but the spear that they're holding, that Midnight Angel was holding, reminds me somewhat, or it looks vaguely similar to the one that Storm has in her title that we're going to discuss later on. All right.
Let me see what we have in the comments here. Damon Watson, I've gone from defense to prosecution. Morehouse, class 2001, A5A07. You guys should be basically blood brothers.
We are brothers. What office are you prosecuting in, Damon? I'm curious about that.
Morehouse in the building. We all got to get up and go hunt. Do you recruit Morehouse grads to watch us? Is that it?
Well, Rav, yeah. Other people just find us. Simpatico.
I don't know if you guys have some type of secret, algorithm or something. Simpatico. Yeah. That's a solid cover. It was. Found my column of Harlem Hellfighters the other day. All right, Kanan White's Harlem Hellfighter. Oh, Mark, I was going to tell you about that. You should, where is it? You like Kanan White's artwork. You should pick up this book.
Oh, okay.
Harlem Hellfighters. The writer is Max Brooks, but all the art is by Kanan White.
Then
it's
I'll definitely be looking for
the Black Regiment from World War I.
I'll definitely be looking for it because I love Kanan's art. Love Kanan White's art.
All right. So Storm has been crossed out, and now Black Panther's back. Looks like Marvel is playing games. Well, she's not crossed. I don't know what you mean by crossed out. She's got the most successful.
On the cover.
She's got one of the most successful. On the cover. That cover.
On the cover.
Yeah, I mean,
no, that's just a page. A lot of times the cover art doesn't necessarily reflect what's going on inside the book. So I wouldn't hold too much stock on that.
And maybe he's the one who saves her, and that can lead to something. I don't know. Manifesto, I have that in Kindle.
Okay. I'm guessing Harlem Hellfighters.
Gordon Mahan says, good evening, all BCLs. Good evening, sir. Good issue. Digital is the way to go for
Pericles. What's going on, Pericles?
Pericles, Dragon Balls in the house. Appreciate you. Let's see. Jacket seems like something that would be on Heroes and Villains website. Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, I bought you some stuff from that for your birthday. Or something Actively Black site would adapt, yeah. He could have flown face first.
Into the water.
I have this issue. I had a subscription to Daredevil the other time. They had Matt hit T'Challa with a double axe handle. Yeah, I mean, they got into it. I mean, to his credit, Daredevil knocked T'Challa down.
And that's one of the things that I get tired of people saying, as if, T'Challa can't be defeated. He's been defeated time and again in his book. He's the bad man without question, but, he's not invulnerable. He's not invincible.
Oh. I actually own this issue, and I was just thinking about the story the other day. Yeah. Ann Nocenti wrote this issue. Ann Nocenti, for those who don't know, was a writer who made a lot of her bones in X-Men books, working along with Chris Claremont as editor at one point as well. She did her most recent work was on a Storm series last year, which I'm sorry, was not good. It was not good. The writer who we don't discuss gets discussed every time Marco doesn't like a Black Panther property.
Exactly. Because that's the preeminent sorry storyline.
I remember I have sinned my brothers and sisters.
Yeah. The Billy Graham.
The white woman apparently didn't care for Black Panther. Yeah. Vital organ area 2. Mm-hmm. With you, Mark.
Mm-hmm. If you're going to have armor, you got to protect the vitals. What's going on, Black Spiders?
What up, Black Spiders? They rectify the mesh part in Wakanda forever. Oh yeah, in the movie they didn't have the mesh part.
Yeah, wouldn't know.
Yeah, Mark
It
still hasn't
does
seen
look like
it.
a predator. It
Yeah.
does look like a predator.
Everyone in the chat, shout out to everybody in the chat. Nonsense Spider. They need to rectify the Wakanda Forever movie and remove it from existence. They need to just reboot the entire MCU with Secret Wars and
I
then call
wouldn't
it
go that far.
I would definitely go that far. Please, people, Hulk smash the like button. Thank you, sir. We need likes. Get the likes up, everyone. Assistant
Gwinnett
Solicitor
County.
General in Gwinnett County.
Damon, so I need to figure out a way to reach out to you directly because I don't get up to Gwinnett, but I have something that I need to discuss with you. So if you're on Twitter, hit me up at ATL Blurred in the DMs or on Instagram, same @, and so I can have a work conversation with you.
All right. Black people helping black people. That's what it's all about. Marc is a history buff too, written by Max Brooks.
Brooks. Okay.
Damon Watson. Yes, I've been planning on getting that Harlem Hellfighters books. I love Max Brooks and have his books. Didn't know White did all the art. I'll get it soon. Right.
Listen, guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, you need to find the Uber comic book, especially if you are a history buff, especially if you like alt world stuff. For example, there was a series on Amazon Prime called The Man in the High Castle. That's what Uber reminded me of, minus the superhero aspect of it. So if you like history, if you like alt world storytelling, I cannot say enough good stuff about Uber.
Bo Biggs with the super chat. Appreciate it,
like
man.
$80 now.
We might. I think we might have made our rent, or at least our portion of it from our show. I don't know what the rest of the cats all doing, but with that, we say this. All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Excuse me.
I Manifesto Matt on the show is no joke, just like Daredevil in the comic.
Sorry.
Yeah, we hopefully get into the Daredevil television show towards the end here if we have time.
Oh my God.
Black Spiders cheers. Oh, he sounds like a Brit. Vincenti also worked on New Mutants and created Longshot. That's right.
Oh,
that's right.
Okay.
Pericles Dragon Balls. That was Jimmy Swaggart, not Billy Graham.
Was it Jimmy Swaggart? Okay. Okay.
They got more armor than Red Sonja for sure.
Yeah.
Cat Yellow Ranger, they need to rectify some of those episodes of Marvel's What If season 3. You know, I've fallen asleep on just about every episode of that What If. I still haven't finished that season 3. It just was boring.
It was decent.
Yeah, it was boring, dude. Red Sonja has a scale, male brazier. Doesn't Billy Graham have a YouTube channel talking about space gods? No, Billy Graham's been dead for a while.
Yeah.
Ubermensch.
Superman.
Kanan White, thanks for the love for Uber. Learned a lot. Shout out to Max Brooks for having the heart to write her and tell the Hellfighter story. That's what's up.
I'm now definitely looking forward to it.
Lord God, Shuri Maga likes. I'm in love with my odd people, then, man.
Okay, y'all need to speak American because I don't know what the hell y'all talking about.
That's an inside joke. Shout out to my Jamaican brethren. Okay, so what are the other was there more Black Panther stuff? Oh, we did have more Black Panther stuff to talk about. Here's this. What do you think about this, Marc?
Okay, so what does Damson say? So long and short of it, there's been this rumor on the interwebs that Damson turned down the opportunity to play T'Challa, right? So I'm guessing he has responded to that. I don't know what he said.
Well, he did. I can tell you. He basically mockingly said off the cuff statement of, sure, I turned it down. I also turned down 007 and Jurassic Park and something else.
Right. Okay. So and basically that's
like,
him being
he's turned down all these roles? And he's like, no, he was joking. Right.
He was being sarcastic that no, I really didn't. So that reminds me of something that I saw just today on the interweb. Some account not allegedly, but said that supposedly Kingpin is going to be the main villain in the next Spider-Man movie. Vincent D'Onofrio, who plays the Kingpin, who is a phenomenal actor, responded under that post saying, "Oh, that's news to me." Basically saying that's bullshit. Whatever that guy said, that's bullshit. I take no stock in anything that anybody on the interweb says unless it comes from a specific account, like the actual Marvel account, or a verified entertainment account like Variety or something. But otherwise, I don't put stock in that because a lot of people have been saying that he has been cast in the role. I think Chillmonger over on his channel discussed it at some point. I don't care. No,
Eclectic says, isn't Damson too young to play T'Challa? Well,
no, he's not.
One, this is an old picture of him that I have up here. Very old picture. He's older than that. Two, he's purportedly working out and getting buff. So that sort of leads to the fire that he may be ramping up to play T'Challa. And three, it also depends on what version of T'Challa that we're talking about. So that kind of leads to my point. The rumor that started all this was Marvel's definitely decided to recast T'Challa. People were going crazy. Recast T'Challa, people saying, we won! We're getting what we want. They're going to recast T'Challa. And I've since Jump been saying, not so fast. Even if the rumor is true, recast T'Challa as what is the question?
The son of T'Chaka or the Haitian bastard child? That's the question.
I hate when you say that, but you're not wrong. Is it T'Challa or is it TJ? Who are we talking about recasting? Also, is it a variant? Are they just rebooting the universe? There's a number of possibilities as to how they could recast the character. And we cannot assume that even if the rumor is true that they're going to recast the character, that it's going to be T'Challa, son of T'Chaka, or T'Challa Jr., son of T'Challa, which makes
a continuation of the role that Chadwick Boseman played and somehow bringing that character back. But to go back to the actual initial question about whether or not he's too young, Damson Idris right now is 32 years old. He'll be 33 in September. When they got their respective roles, Chris Hemsworth and Evans were both 29 and 30 respectively when they started in the role. So no, I would say he's not too young. In fact, Chadwick, God rest his soul, may have been too old for his role. But
he was 36 when he did when he appeared in Civil War.
Right. So no, Damson is not too young, the way I look at it.
All right. So one of the things that Marc mentioned was, different ways that he could be brought back. And that raises the next topic I wanted to discuss. I brought this up. Marc, you mentioned Chillmonger. I recently was on an episode of Chillmonger and talked about one easy way to bring back T'Challa. And that is this. You have this issue?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, not of course, but yes, I do have this.
Invincible Iron Man Annual number 5 came out in 1982. It's really a Black Panther issue. At the time, Black Panther did not have an ongoing series, so he got to get in where he could fit in. Marvel decided to make this basically a Black Panther one-shot that just so happened to have Tony Stark in it. It says Iron Man. It's really a Black Panther one-shot. If you're a Black Panther fan, you really need to own this book in your collection. Here's why. Way back when in Jungle Action, the classic Jungle Action, which is quite honestly the gift that keeps on giving in Black Panther lore. It is done by the great Don McGregor and Billy Graham for the most part. And there was so much that was explored in that series. From dinosaurs, mutant monster people, to evil sorcerers and shaman, to a guy who raised the undead. I mean, Jungle Action was wild. Don McGregor let his imagination go crazy.
And that dude could turn a phrase. His writing was spectacular.
Yeah.
I know he doesn't get the credit in Black Panther circles that he should get, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
But, I've said many a time that his run is the second best. For me personally, the Hudlin run is 1A, McGregor is 1B. Jungle Action, you need to have the Jungle Action books.
Yeah, Jungle Action was that series. You really, you talk about the defining Wakanda and all this stuff. Jungle Action defined Wakanda in a way that, quite honestly, still hasn't been done. The closest would probably be Ta-Nehisi Coates' run, but even his run didn't define Wakanda the way Don McGregor did.
Didn't McGregor introduce W'Kabi? Didn't he create W'Kabi?
He did.
Yeah.
A lot of those ancillary characters, T'Challa's inner circle, all defined in Jungle Action. But one of the things that was discussed in this series was a concept of this resurrection altar. The resurrection altar, which is in Wakanda, kind of close to the border of Naganda, there was a fallen star. But even before Vibranium fell to Wakanda, there was a fallen star that landed in this mountain. And this fallen star, these various peoples built an altar around when they discovered that it had the ability to perpetuate life and bring people, in essence, back to life. And in the storyline, Killmonger, who's still vying for power from T'Challa, decides to try and bring back his henchman Cadaver, his ally, back to life, and puts him on the altar. And the thing about the resurrection altar is it will make you different. Like, it was shunned amongst the Wakandans as being kind of black magic-y, in the sense that it was unpredictable. Yes, you could bring back life. Yes, you could bring back life, but that life would be altered in some way. Oftentimes people, what?
Like Pet Cemetery.
I don't know what that means, but
you don't know what Pet Cemetery is?
I mean, the horror movie, you mean?
Yes, Pet Cemetery by Stephen King. Something dies, you go bury it in the pet cemetery, it comes back to life, but it's not like it was when it was alive.
Okay, sure. So
same concept.
Sure. So, but when these people come back, sometimes they come back with superpowers or some type of mutation. So the idea, everything that you need, and I've said this before, everything that you need for the MCU is in the comics. You just got to know. You just have to be diligent to find it. And when you have the attitude of, I don't want to hire writers and directors that are familiar with the source material, that's problematic for me, because if you want to bring back T'Challa, there are plenty of ways to do it right in the comics. This resurrection altar is one of them. At the end of Wakanda, in the Wakanda Forever movie, you saw his body get flown off in some ship. It stands to reason they could have brought him to the resurrection altar and brought him back. And the good thing is, because you are altered, when you put somebody there, you are altered. It would explain why he looks different, because you are altered.
Okay. I understand the concept, but obviously we know that you don't need that, because all of us know that Chadwick Boseman died. You didn't have to worry about that when Thunderbolt Ross was recast. You didn't have to worry about that when Rhodey was recast. I get it. I understand what you're saying, but it's not really necessary to explain the difference in appearance.
Apparently it is, because they could have done it.
No. Well, what they could have done is simply recast. What they could have done is recast, but Ryan Coogler didn't want to, and he was allowed to kill the character.
We all know this, Mark. We all know this. But the point I'm trying to make here is there are various ways in the comics that could bring back the character, and you could bring back Damson Idris as the new Black Panther. And for those people that aren't smart enough to figure out the concept of recasting actors without it interfering with their sense of reality, here's an easy way to resurrect somebody for dummies.
So let me ask you this. Right. So let me ask you this. Having not seen the movie, did they ever show an actual physical body? Did they show Chadwick Boseman in a casket?
No.
Okay, so we, the audience, never saw a body. And I'm not disagreeing with anything that you said as that being a way to bring the character back. I mentioned the fact that you don't see a body to tie into something that I've said here previously about the Secret Invasion storyline. That is yet another way that the character can be brought back, because nobody actually ever saw that a body was in the casket. So yes, there are multiple ways that the character can be brought back. The issue is you're going to have to get rid of Ryan Coogler as the helmsman of this IP in order to do that, because he does not want the character to be brought back, because that character could only be played by Chadwick Boseman, God rest his soul, as if he's the only actor on the face of the planet who could play T'Challa adequately, which obviously is not the case.
Obviously not the case. So, and here's the Iron Man annual number 5. Madam Slay, aka Tiana
Shumpert. No, what's with Tiana Taylor? But she was married to Shumpert. Yeah, she just raked him coals. Did you see their divorce settlement?
No.
She raked him over the coals. Oh my goodness, the interwebs was a buzz. It was funny. She got a lot. She got a lot.
Yeah. Well, she brings back Killmonger. Almost said Killmonger. She brings back Killmonger after T'Challa throws him off of Victoria Falls or whatever it's called. He's dead. Puts him on the altar. Puts the heart-shaped herb stuff on him or whatever it was, some herbs they say, and brings him back. So there is precedent in the comics for bringing back dead Wakandans. It's all right there in Wakanda. You just got to go ahead and make the story work.
Make it make
more
sense.
Than enough information.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see what some of the chat's talking about. Then we'll move on to our other stuff. Let's see. Go back. Wow, people have been talking. All right. Ryan Bunn mentions Brian Hill's last issue of Ultimate Black Panther is 15. A new creative team takes over with 16. I did not know that.
I know that.
Don't do it. Reconsider. Read some literature on the subject. You sure?
I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't know either. Damon Watson. Lawyers trust nothing when you
lawyers trust nothing unless you decide a proper authority. Exactly. Smith v. Jones, 356 Georgia.
Damien can also be Blade.
No. I don't like that idea.
No, there's plenty of guys that can play Blade. He's not one of them.
Right.
I am kind of biased. I label anyone who dated Lori Harvey as a youngin.
So half of Hollywood. Oops.
That's half of Hollywood. We need to see the Hellfire Club challenge T'Challa and then invite him to join. A battle between Sebastian Shaw and T'Challa for control would be epic. This could involve.
Has he ever interacted with the Hellfire Club? Not that I can recall off the top of my head.
I don't remember him ever doing.
But that's interesting.
Hopefully, they'll do a time runs out storyline where the T'Challa from the Fantastic Four universes cross over once the incursions destroy their universe.
Okay, but here's the issue Here's the issue that I've mentioned before. When you do that, you have a person from another universe coming over to the main 616 universe. That's not the same person. And if it's a character like, as I said a couple of weeks ago, if it's a character like Wolverine who is in and of himself, that's fine. He has no real ties. T'Challa was a brother, a son, and a ruler. So you can't necessarily plop this dude from another universe into Wakanda and say, hey, you're now going to be our king and my brother. That doesn't work for me.
It doesn't work for you, but it works in comics.
When has that happened in comics where an alternate universe person
think about it
is now the new person?
Miles Morales.
Okay, but Miles Morales was unique. Okay, we're not bringing Peter Parker from the.
You asked if it ever happened. Yes, it has. Miles Morales.
Understand what the premise is. Miles Morales is a unique character.
Yeah.
If it was Peter Parker, that would be a 1-for-1. But Miles Morales was unique. I'm talking about somebody who had.
It's not true. You don't read Miles Morales. It's not true.
What do you mean?
You're talking about stuff you don't know because you don't read Miles Morales.
Before Secret Wars, was there a Miles Morales in the main 616 universe?
Yes.
That we saw who had spider powers.
He didn't have spider powers, but he was Miles Morales. There was a Miles Morales. Yes, he was evil.
Okay, so I don't recall that Miles Morales
because you don't read Miles Morales. As I'm telling you, stop talking about shit you don't know,
motherfucker. Right. See, you about to piss me off. But going back to what I was saying, all right, Black Panther T'Challa is different. Okay, he's unlike the Logan, like I mentioned before. So it does not work. Miles Morales may very well be unique. Okay, in that regard, but typically you don't plop this person and insert them into a family. Did the Miles Morales from the Ultimate Universe all of a sudden take the place of Miles Morales from 616? Did he do that?
Kind of.
Did he take the place of the 616 Miles universe, 616 universe in his family? Did he come in, take
his family? No. No,
right. That's what
they did not depict that. They didn't go too much into the background of the other Miles Morales, but for all intents and purposes, I'll say no.
Right. That's the point that I'm making. Because if you have a new T'Challa, that's in essence what you're asking him to do. You're asking him to now be Shuri's brother. You're asking him now to be the ruler of Wakanda, and that does not work for me.
It may not work for you, but it can work in the sense that. As this person's talking about with the incursions, this character's universe would have been destroyed. If the universe that he goes to is so similar that is virtually wow, this liquor's kicking me. I can't even speak. Is indistinguishable from our universe or his own universe. What's the difference? If the person looks like your sister, looks like your mom, it looks like your Wakanda, everyone sounds the same. Except it's not different because they got blown up in your world. You're emotionally not going to make a distinction.
Okay, that makes no sense.
That makes absolute. What the fuck are you talking about?
Stop. I'm about to explain it. Stop. So as I was about to say, that's like if Joe Biden died. Okay, we all see that he died. We know that he's no longer here. All of a sudden, a portal comes open. And you have, hey guys, I'm Joe Biden from this other universe. Even though he looks the same, talks the same, maybe even acts the same, the people who knew the original Joe Biden is not going to accept him as their Joe Biden. It's the same thing with Wakandans. They know in the MCU, they know that their king is dead. So they're not automatically going to accept this new guy as their ruler. That doesn't make sense.
Mark, I think anyone who has suffered the loss of a loved one would disagree with you in this concept that if another person on the same day that you lost your loved one showed up and said, I know you just lost your version, another version of me, but I have the exact same memories and everything as that other person, I'm back.
But
is that grieving person going to reject that person?
I cannot answer that because thankfully I've not experienced a close loss to that, but I'm looking at how people are. And I'm looking at them. I'm not talking necessarily specifically about Shuri, but I'm talking about the Wakandans. The Wakandans lost their king. They lost their ruler. They lost their pope. They know he's gone. So now all of a sudden, some other guy who doesn't look like the original guy is saying, hey, I'm this guy from another place, accept me. That doesn't work.
Well, you said that the whole not looking like the person is only for stupid people.
The not looking like him is if you're not trying to come up with an alt universe version. Okay, because what I'm saying and suggesting is that when they recast T'Challa, it is a continuation of Chadwick Boseman's version, just like Brandon Routh's version of Superman was a continuation of Christopher Reeve's version, even though they look nothing alike. But that was the same continuity, same storyline, right? So this is what I'm saying.
Okay. Other comments: recast the character and bring back Killmonger. They could have him in.
Tired of Killmonger. Don't need him.
Who is the sister?
That's Madam Slay.
That's Madam
Slay.
Slay.
Is it Sister Slay or Madam Slay?
It's Madam Slay. Madam Slay.
Solo, what's going on?
Eclectic. Google Tiana Taylor, Madam
Mhm.
Slay.
In fact, if you watched Coming to America 2, which I don't advise because it sucked, but she in that movie, that was Madam Slay. Her portrayal in Coming to America 2 is Madam Slay.
Madam Slay, yes.
Yeah.
I was 12 years old when I saw an Iron Man series. Yeah. Thanks, Nancy the Spider. Sounds like the Savage Land setting. Wakanda did have a Savage Land within it. They had their own dinosaurs and everything. Wakanda is a very interesting country with a lot of landscapes. They have everything from jungles to deserts to icy mountains.
Dinosaurs. They had literal dinosaurs.
They had literal dinosaurs. They had areas that were swamps filled with undead creatures and people. It's wild. Jungle Action is just the most wild series of imagination. Who is the cover artist? Oh shoot, why are you asking me that? Now you made me look this up because it's gonna bother me unless I answer your question. Yeah, you could have Googled this, but that's all right.
But that's why they're here to talk. To
That's why they're here, because I am here to entertain you.
And while he's doing that, I'm looking up to see how many issues of Jungle Action involving T'Challa there were. So he takes
artist was the cover and interior artist was Jerry Bingham, and he was actually also the writer.
Okay, so there are 19 issues of Jungle Action. There are 19 issues of Jungle Action involving T'Challa. It starts at issue 5 and runs to issue 24. So only 19.
Our boy Jeff says somebody needs to come in and reboot all that. That's what I say, man. Just reboot the whole MCU. Start from scratch. Bring back Captain America. Bring back Tony Stark. Don't give me black versions of all these people. Use original black superheroes and call it a day.
So Jodie Turner-Smith, as attractive as she is, I think that they should go with a younger Madam Slay. She was for a long time my Storm.
I literally can't visualize anyone else playing Madam Slay but Tiana Taylor.
Right, but Jodie Turner-Smith, if she's going to play anything, she should play Storm. But I think she's too old for Storm now.
McGregor co-created Killmonger and Queen Ramonda. That's true.
Nice.
McGregor had
yes, he did.
Clan. I like stuff.
I met Don McGregor at Dragon Con last year. Very nice man.
Who came up with Naganda though? Well, it had to be either McGregor or
I think it was McGregor, honestly,
or Billy Graham, one of the two of them.
Well, yeah, it was come from the pages of Jungle Action, so yeah.
New comic book artists can learn a thing or two in these old comics.
Yes, they can.
More than a thing or two, man. The Lazarus Pit. Yes.
Wrong universe. This isn't DC.
But I think he's making the point that the analogy.
I know.
Do you have any thoughts about vibranium being able to stop kinetic impact versus just vibration?
That's what it does.
It does both.
That's what it does.
Yeah. What book is this, Paul? Well, there's 3 books I showed you. I showed Iron Man Annual number 5. That's the one with Madam Slay and Killmonger. I also showed
Daredevil 45.
Volume 7, number 19, I think it was.
19.
And then I also showed
Daredevil 245.
Daredevil 245, but there was also another book with regard to the resurrection thing. Which one was that?
That was Iron Man.
No, there was another one. There's a third one.
The
Jungle Action. Jungle Action 12. Jungle Action 12. They don't like people who know the comics.
Clearly.
I know.
And you know what's crazy about that is Kevin Feige, who made his bones on the first X-Men movie as like an assistant producer or something along those lines. He is a comic book guy. So for him to now say that he doesn't want people who know the source material is somewhat disconcerting. And was it he that said that, or was it Moore who said that? I think it was Moore who said that. Who
said what? They don't like the writers?
People who know the source material. I think it was Nate Moore. if I'm not mistaken.
It was definitely one of the two of them. I don't remember which one.
Right. But I'm pretty sure it was Moore who said that, because again, Feige is a comic book head, so if I'm not mistaken, he had comic books on the set of the first X-Men movie, helping the actors get into their characters. So yeah.
John Anthony Choltero says Black Panther imbibes the heart-shaped herb. So how did he die? I mean, yeah.
I mean, he can die. He's not.
He could die, but I mean,
yeah.
You didn't watch Wakanda Forever. He died of some unknown disease. I mean, it's just
right. And T'Challa is immune from all terrestrial diseases thanks to the heart-shaped herb. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, and he's in the most advanced country in the world.
Correct.
Everett Ross gets shot in the spine, and he gets fixed in 15 minutes.
Bucky has, brainwashing, and then they freeze him. The king is sick. Why don't they freeze him until they come up with a cure?
Why did I put him in stasis? Exactly.
It's people talk about, listen, Ryan Coogler is an auteur. When he's dealing with his own stuff, brilliant. I'm looking forward to seeing the Sinners movie. Really looking forward to it. He should not be in charge of this IP because he does not respect the character. He does not respect the source material. Because his writing was horrible, because it flies in the face of 55 years of the character. It's like saying, okay, Superman is allergic to water. It just, the stuff that he did just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I manifest. P-Dub doesn't remember Pet Sematary. I don't watch horror movies for the most part. I'm not a horror movie.
He's scared. But yes, Pet Sematary, the original with Fred Gwynn or Herman Munster, was very good.
45 and 35 likes. You guys aren't hitting the like button? Hit the like button. Why is my viewership going on? Hit the like button, please. Everyone just take a moment. Take a second. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button. That's how we get our channel to grow. We're trying to get this thing. Ideally, we'd love to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, there's no reason for you not to. It doesn't cost you anything. Just hit the subscribe button as you're watching us right now. And that way you'll know when we do the show in the future. Appreciate it. All right. Thorne says, just recast it. Yes, my God.
Correct.
Please, Marvel.
Correct.
Raven L. Dupree, the Resurrection Chamber is a comic accurate route, but I like the time runs out better. I mean, the time runs out fixes the entire Marvel universe and allows them to start from scratch. Literally. You can recast everybody. Because here's the thing. With the MCU, these actors, they age out of their roles, as we've seen with, guys who have now retired. You have killed characters stupidly in some respects that you should not have killed. In comic books, yes, no one really dies, but
except
in some respects, there are certain characters that did not need to die that, you could bring back with a rebooted universe.
Bill Foster.
And you want to develop a buzz with the MCU to get people to watch these movies again. People are talking about, well, Cap 4 was a flop because it basically broke even, which means that it was a failure. But understand, movies in general are not making money anymore. People aren't going to theaters in droves like that anymore. It stayed the number one movie in America for a while, and it still wasn't making money.
Yeah,
because people aren't going to movies anymore. They have to have more realistic expectations on revenues of films. Well, quite frankly, Disney just needs to invest in just doing Disney Plus stuff to save themselves money, but still get the viewership they want and move their plot along for the larger MCU. But all that being said, rebooting the entire MCU makes sense. You can get a new Captain America, a new Iron Man. You can bring back Black Widow, who's dead. You can bring back various villains like Claw. T'Challa's main arch nemesis is dead. He died in the first outing, unceremoniously, with a bullet. Makes no sense.
Here's the thing about that. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with the reboot, but there are so many stories that have yet to be told with the characters who are already still there that it may not necessarily, in my opinion, isn't necessary. You can continue maybe in another 20 years. Okay, yeah, you start fresh, but Chris Hemsworth is still game. Doctor Strange. I hope there's another Doctor Strange movie, and et cetera, et cetera. So you don't necessarily have to reboot the whole thing. But
I understand exactly what you're saying, and I don't disagree. But the reboot doesn't have to do what the original series did, because the original MCUs, particularly Phase 1, was about doing origin stories on these characters. You don't have to do that again. Yeah. You don't have to set up, because remember, you had to train a mainstream audience to understand the suspension of disbelief for a comic book universe. You had to train an audience. Now, people these days, they know what it means when you say SHIELD, or they say,
Iron Man is. Like, whenever you have a Batman story, you don't have concept.
They understand that there are gods, as Sam Wilson says. There's gods, wizards, monsters,
and robots.
And aliens.
Is it aliens, wizards, and gods or something? I don't remember.
Yeah,
that was
the audience now knows those concepts.
Right.
So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can reboot the universe. You can have a Captain America, Thor, Black Widow in that universe without explaining who those characters are, without doing origin stories, and do what you just said, which I agree with, which is there are plenty of other Marvel characters that can now get their shine and explore. And that's why I was saying before, you don't got to do a black version of Captain America or a black version of whoever. There are original characters that you can just put into that universe without reinventing the wheel or trying to do a panderization version to try and get more diversity. You can still have your original characters, introduce these other characters, and run with it.
Wonder Man.
Exactly.
But
Tiana Taylor kind of resembles
Madame. She does. And she's younger.
Yeah. They do it with every other role in the cinema. They don't need a giant story reason. Yeah.
To recast, yeah.
Me and my boys were cracking up at the last scene when little boy came back.
You got to watch Pet Sematary. The original Pet Sematary, not the remake that came out about 7 years ago. That one sucked, but the original was very good.
When did that movie come out?
The original Pet Sematary came out like around 93, maybe.
They killed off Herman Munster.
Yes. Fred Gwynn.
The zombie kid was cursing up a storm.
Yes, he was. Let's see. No physical body.
Black Spider says maybe they can take a Black Panther from another universe. Yeah, that's one of the things we've talked about. That's one of the possibilities.
But 89, I apologize. The original Pet Sematary came out in 89. It doesn't matter what the cast felt. They are employees, with all due respect to them. They had they had 11 months between Chadwick's death and the start of filming of Black Panther 2. Regardless of how they felt, Ryan should not have killed the character. But again, they are employees with contracts to fulfill. They are professional pretenders. You pretend like you are okay. You do the job that you're paid for. You get somebody else in the role.
Yeah, you didn't have to replace or even recast the character for the first Wakanda Forever movie. I think the bigger objection was the fact that they killed the character in the film.
Killed the character. Yep.
He killed the character, and it was unnecessary to do that.
There were comic book accurate ways to explain T'Challa's absence.
There was MCU
murdering.
There were MCU ways to explain the killing of the absence of the character for the film, because you had the blip. He didn't have to be in the film. He set the movie during the blip.
Right, and people say, "Well, Shuri was blip." Well, we never saw her blip.
We never saw.
It was on a screen. It was on a screen, but it's a secret society. You could retcon that aspect of it and say Shuri was there all along. So,
absolutely, that was a simple fix. Simple fix.
But Ryan messed it up.
Nothing. And they could have had the same funeral scene for T'Challa.
You have the same movie. If you said it, you have the same movie. You said it during the blip. The exact same movie.
Yeah. And also not killed Queen Ramonda. That was just stupid. We're missing some folks. I hope all is well. I don't see a Marvel Studios moving forward with Black Panther 3 right now because fans will reject it if T'Challa is in cast or Shuri leading the next film. I think fans are stupid. Yeah, her ex-husband.
Yes, he was. She raked him over the coals. She really did.
No student. Did he have a prenup?
Don't know.
There you go.
Don't know.
No studio in the history of Hollywood has ever made a single decision based on the cast hurt feelings.
Correct.
Anybody says they did is lying. Yeah, there's an agenda involved there that I think needs to be explored. Madam Slay's supposed to be messing with Green Lantern now. They doing their DC Marvel crossover. That was
I think that was just a picture. That was just a photo. They were at the Oscars, I want to say. That was just a photo. You have that picture. You sent it to me.
Yeah, let me bring. Oops, shoot.
So basically, what Damon is saying is that the real life actors, Tayana and what's my man's name? Aaron Pierre were photographed together like a photo shoot. I want to say it was around the time of the Oscars. So that's what he means with Madam Slay supposed to mess with Green Lantern. So maybe they're dating, but it was a photo.
Here's the photo.
The photos, yeah. They look good together.
They do. I mean, she got a mess of kids, but she looked good.
Yeah. But I mean, dude, all due respect, she's a divorcee with 2-3 kids. He's got Hollywood wide open. You know, I think Lori Harvey's single now. So, you know, I'm just saying.
You stupid. You absolutely stupid. You're not wrong, but she's stupid. Okay. I lost track of where we were. I'm just going to jump back in. If they bring back T'Challa via Resurrection Alter, some people will clamor for Killmonger.
They're stupid. We're done with the Killmonger. It is not the Killmonger story. It is T'Challa's story.
I don't care if they bring back Killmonger. I care about if they bring back the King. Armin Tamazarian became Seymour Skinner.
I don't know who Armin is.
I don't think I know who that is. Gentleman, LOL. If the Marvel Universe gets destroyed and a time runs out storyline, that's a fresh start for everyone. That's where I think Marvel is headed. That's what I hope.
I think Ravage times runs out. I get that impression.
No, they won't. He would be an imposter.
Right. We're talking about the other T'Challa, right?
I think T'Challa is in the intergalactic empire of Wakanda.
I hated that storyline.
I love that storyline.
I know you do.
Some might expect him like his fam, but the people as a whole, not so sure.
Right.
The people, Wakandans respect.
No more Killmonger. Yeah. I'm tired of Killmonger.
Did Luke Cage and Black Panther ever team up in the comics? Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
In Reginald Hudlin's run,
him and Blade, like around 9, issue 9 or something.
I can't remember the issue number.
I'll look it up. But basically, Luke Cage, Black Panther, and Blade were in New Orleans, and I want to say
Monica Rambeau.
Right, and I want to say Luke Cage was at T'Challa
and Dr. Voodoo.
Dr. Voodoo. Yeah,
they all went to.
But yes, they have teamed up. Yes,
they absolutely have. Luke Cage was practically did his bachelor party for him.
Yeah.
Later on, I must do some research on both John and Rihanna on Twitch. Apple has a show called Dark Matter that addresses this paradox. Okay. No one mentions how Rhodey looks different, so they don't have to.
Right, and that's the point that I made earlier. We know the reason why the characters or the actors look different than the originals, and there was a line in Iron Man 2 that addressed it. There was a line in the most recent Captain America that addressed why Harrison Ford doesn't look like.
Can't get over this new look for you.
Yeah, I had to get rid of the mustache. Okay, cool.
Rihanna is thicker than a Snicker.
All right, calm down, little buddy. Calm down.
Someone's got.
Hey, what's up, Hype Style?
Peace to Black Comic Lords. Peace to the chat room. Salute. What's up, Hype Style? The collective Black nerdies. Rihanna makes me hungry, and now I've said too much about the situation.
Some of you guys, instead of being here with us on a Friday night talking about comic books, y'all need to hit the clubs and get you some. You thirsty bastards.
I'm saying Tiana Taylor Valley Sally. Bo DeMaio made the point that he got a lot of pushback because of X-Men. Yeah, I don't doubt
that show
it.
was good.
I don't doubt that.
That show.
Anthony Blevins, I think Luke Cage showed up in both runs of Priest and Hudlin.
I don't remember him in Priest. I definitely remember him in Hudlin. I'm not saying he didn't show up in Priest. I just don't remember it if he did.
What do you guys think about Dustin Nguyen's rant about Marvel being stingy with paying their artists and royalties for their work? Well,
that's true.
Let me pull out some more bourbon.
Well, here's the thing. Let's hold on, Paul. We've been on here for an hour and a half. We haven't even talked about this week's comics. Let's not dwell on this that long.
I'll give you my short answer. Dustin Wen answered his own question or his own rant. He said, people that work for Marvel and DC know it's pay for hire, or work for hire. They're not going to give their all on IP they're not going to own nor get any royalties from. It's its own paradox because Marvel and DC have the most exposure. They pay the least amount of money, and they don't give you any royalties off of the work that you create. But it's a great way to break into the industry, make your bones, get your name out there. Mm-hmm. But the smart play for creators long term, in my opinion, really is in doing independent work. Develop your name, get your following, go independent, and get your guap up. Secure your bag, because you're not going to do that. I mean, there's very few artists that have those type of deals at Marvel and DC where they're really successful and don't need to go elsewhere. Those type of deals are a lot fewer and far between these days.
Right. But to answer the question about T'Challa and Luke Cage linking up, Black Panther, the Reginald Hudlin run, issue number 10, it appears. So check that one out.
Yeah, I'd mind not watching Dopey Stories for real.
All right, so let's get into this week's books, man.
All right, so you just want to skip all these comments?
I mean, listen, like I said, we've been here an hour and a half, so.
All right, so just understand, everybody, he's the guy that said he's skipping all of your comments, not me. All right, so we're going to jump into our other stuff. So let's take a quick commercial break, and then we'll jump into our reads of the week once I figure out how to do that on my own here. Where are my commercials? We have no commercials. Where are our commercials? Gosh darn it, these guys moving everything around. I'm just going to pick one at random.
When Batman asks you, are you willing to die for your cause? You best believe it. It means you just might messing around with the Dark Knight. But there's a darker knight on the scene named Orpheus. This Rich recommends is Batman Orpheus Rising. It is a 5-issue miniseries written by Alex Simmons and drawn by Dwayne Turner. Gavin King, aka Orpheus, meets Batman while investigating a series of cops dying by way of homicide. And get this, they think they are racially motivated. Ain't that a switch? Nevertheless, all these homicides are going down, and it seems as if these cops were no man's land veterans. Check that run out too. Either way, Orpheus goes to the Hill, the place that Batman rarely goes to confront a gang called the Deacons. In fact, you should go check out Batman the Hill for that revelation. Anyway, Batman being Batman doesn't care for vigilantes in his city that he didn't or doesn't train. The nerve. But Orpheus is just trying to give black children a black superhero. How you love that? They work it out, of course, and save the day. Side note, Orpheus does die for his cause in another tale, Batman War Games. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, peace.
All right, we're back. And now we're doing our reads of the week. Let's do Storm number 6 because I have that one queued up already.
Okay, and real quick, before we do that, I was mentioning the Smoke Wagon that I'm drinking, the one that I had a couple of weeks ago. This is their straight bourbon whiskey. Personally, I think the straight bourbon is significantly better than the uncut and unfiltered. So I just want to say
the bottle's nice. So you should use that lamp on it when you're done.
Yeah, I probably will. You know what? Hold on a second. But I mean, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I want you to put that lamp in there.
No, I'm doing it now. So while I'm doing this, before Paul jumps into Storm, what you have to understand is that there is a cross-issue storyline going on in the X books. Basically, what's happening is Charles Xavier, who is persona non grata at this point in time, due to his actions in Krakoa, is being held at a prison that was formerly his his home in Westchester. This group has taken it over. It is now a prison. Graymalkin for mutants. So this is it with the liquor in it. So that's
a pretty bottle. It's definitely a pretty bottle.
That's really kind of cool. $10, Amazon, guys. But so the storyline in Storm coincides with the it's called the X-Manhunt, and Storm's current issue is number 3 in the entire storyline. So if you want to read them in order, you have to start with, hold on, forgive me my old eyes and get my glasses. All right, it's a 7-part storyline. Uncanny X-Men number 11 is part 1. Part 2 is in NYX or Nix, or I don't know how you pronounce it, number 9. Storm's issue is part 3 right here, which we're going to talk about that. Part 4 is in X-Men. Part 5 is in X Factor. I don't know about part 6 and 7 yet. But in order to understand what's going on in issue number 6, you need to pick up the other issues as well. So, yeah.
Okay. So, Storm 6. We did a show about this last week. We had Maria Aidelli on, our Storm Watch post issue drop show. Mario Aidelli, shout out to him, man. He packed a lot into that issue. A lot of Easter eggs, a lot of nuggets, a lot of action, very action-packed issue. The most action-packed issue of the series to date. Mm-hmm. It was Storm and Maggot versus the Alaskan X-Men. She was kind of holding her own for a second, ultimately squared off against Scott Summers. And the Eternal Storm took over. The Eternity is using Storm as a host. So she has the power of a cosmic entity within her. And people, I remember seeing someone making some asinine comment about, oh, I hate this series because it's only a temporary power-up because she's going to be, he's not really doing anything. All he's doing is just giving her powers of eternity. That's not true. You're not paying attention if you think that. Maria has been upgrading Storm's power set in every issue. From having her travel through a lightning bolt for teleportation for all intents and purposes. Using her powers in new and unique ways. Pointing out that her power set isn't just weather manipulation, it's the control of energy, which means that she can also use her powers in space. She can control solar winds. She can control cosmic energy. She's done that before. She has. She's an energy user and manipulator. And then on top of all that, she has a sorceress's background in her DNA, in her family history. And he's been exploring all of that. And that's not even touching the Eternal Storm stuff. So, but the Eternal Storm helps her to ultimately defeat the X-Men. What was interesting, though, let me show you this. This is what happens in the issue. What did you say was the issue after this in the storyline, the X-Men hunt?
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. He was 3. X-Men number 13.
So here's a panel from X-Men 13. And this is right after Storm basically lays out all the X-Men, specifically Scott and Juggernaut. Juggernaut, she smashed his helmet visor. His helmet visor that's made with the bands of Sidorak, which is magical. It's supposed to be indestructible because it's magical. It doesn't define itself by the laws of our reality and physics. It's magical. You're not supposed to be able to destroy his armor. She gave him a headbutt when she was the Eternal Storm and broke his visor, broke his helmet, and broke his nose. So Storm goes into Allison Seeley, Smith voice. My winds can strip the flesh from even your bones. By the way, I asked Maria the question last week, what is Storm's voice when she's got this blue word bubble? When she's the Eternal Storm, what voice is it? Does she sound like Allison Seeley Smith that we know from the X-Men 97 or X-Men cartoon series in the 90s? Or does she sound more like Barry White? And he says she sounds more like Barry White. So she sounds like a very deep bass, godlike voice.
Ethereal.
And so she tries to do this power thing. Now, this part's written by Jed McKay. And Temper says, wind. It's just air moving around. And what moves it? Temperature. You control weather. I control what makes weather. So she, in effect, shut down Storm's powers by controlling the weather, by controlling the temperature that Storm manipulates. I don't know if I like this scene. All respect to Jed. I love Jed. You know how much I love you, Jed. But I don't know if I agree with this reasoning, because she's, at this point, she's the Eternal Storm. She's not Storm. She's the Eternal Storm. All these lightning daggers and all this stuff you're seeing her do, doing a headbutt on the friggin' Juggernaut and breaking his helmet, that's not Storm. As much as Maria has updated and leveled her up, she can't headbutt Juggernaut and break his helmet. That's
she's been possessed. Ultimately,
right.
She's been possessed.
She's possessed by Eternity. That's Eternity's power set that's doing those things.
Right.
So I don't think Eternity's going to limit himself to just using Storm's little mutant powers to try and defeat these characters when he has all these other powers that he literally just used in knocking out all these X-Men. He levels up. Let me rephrase. He power boosts her power to defeat the X-Men. I don't know if Temper has the power to shut off that level of power. That did not seem to make a lot of sense to me. Just to me. That was my only criticism.
Yeah. I personally accepted it, but Storm, be she Eternal Storm or Aurora Monroe, is not limited to just gale force winds. She also has the power of lightning. And even though, I'm not a meteorologist, of course, but I wouldn't necessarily think that being able to control the temperature would adversely affect Storm's control over lightning. So,
yeah.
But it was a good story. I like the story. I like the art. I enjoy this. Yeah. I am enjoying this storyline a lot, actually. Here's the question that I have, though, and I don't know if you've addressed this with Maria, but Storm has a floating fortress for all intents and purposes.
Yes,
that's what
Thundercloud.
Spaceship is called Thundercloud. It is her own personal sanctuary. Where the hell does she get the financial resources for this? And
he talked about that a bit. He mentioned the Mysterium that the X-Men had. And he also said that he's going to explore her finances in future issues.
Good. Okay. All right.
But he did mention that she did have some bag from the Mysterium that the mutants were selling when she was reading.
I thought she had the same lawyer that Tayana did and raked T'Challa over the coals or something. So, yeah.
Well, she did have some Wakandan armor, which Maria said was provided by one of the children of T'Chaka. So it's either Shuri or Storm. So Shuri or T'Challa.
T'Challa.
So I mean the divorce settlement was obviously quite favorable.
Well, not necessarily, because it was in T'Challa. I mean, it was in Wakanda. This is in California now, and he is the high all be all over there. So he was like, "Yeah, you get nothing." Who knows?
We'll see. All right. So next issue, let's pull up our little handy list from our League of Comic Book Geek website. What else did you want to talk about? What are some other you
Black
you
Lightning.
you read Moon Man or something like that?
I do, but that comes later.
Okay.
Black Lightning #5.
Right.
Written by what's his name? John Adams? Not John Adams. What's his name?
Brandon Thomas.
Yeah,
You really don't. For those who don't know,
okay,
Marc
hold on.
doesn't
Before you go
actually
there,
watch anything that we do on
stop.
Black
I'm not
Comic
going to allow
Book.
you to do this. I've been drinking. I tweeted him earlier. I'm not good with names. I'm bad with names of people I actually know. But I have been paying more attention to creators' names. That's why I know Kanan. Shout out to Kanan. That's why I know Jeffrey Thorne. Shout out to him. But that aside, Brandon Thomas has written a very good 5-issue arc around Jefferson Pierce and his family. I love this artwork. This artwork is very, very vibrant. It's a very good story.
Fico-Ossio.
Yes. So basically, in the aftermath of the Amanda Waller taking over planet Earth in the DC universe, a lot of the superheroes and supervillains, their powers were stripped from them. And so now the superheroes are trying to get their powers back. And Anissa had her power stripped. She got them back, and now she's dealing with trying to control them again. There is a character. Hold on with the comments real quick, please. Hold on with the comments. There's a group of individuals out there who have been attacking the superheroes. There's a politician. Let me back up. There's a politician. He's somewhat of a Tim Scott from South Carolina, Clarence Thomas type character, and that should tell you all you need to know about him. He worships Superman, the Ubermensch, the white Christ-like figures who he worships, not Steel, not Mr. Terrific, but the white dude, right? So he is basically, this is going to be a spoiler, guys, but he has basically been having this group, kind of like the Proud Boys, attack him to try to turn the world against the superheroes. It all comes to head in this issue #5. The story is a very, very good story. The art is spectacular. I really, really enjoy this art. As we all know, if you guys watched the Black Lightning series over on the CW, no, is it this? Yeah, the CW. The CW. You know that Black Lightning, Jefferson Pierce, and his wife have been divorced for a long time. In the conclusion of this issue, they somewhat have a coming together. And we see that through the eyes of Anissa, aka Thunder, who is front and center right here on this page. I have mentioned on this in this space many, many times that there's a decidedly lack of Black love in comic books. By that I mean, rarely do we have any long-lasting, super-powered romantic relationships. That's why I was so very excited about the Reginald Hudlin run when he paired T'Challa with Aurora Monroe. Unfortunately, that went the way of the dodo bird. We had Adam Brashear and Monica Rambeau together. For whatever reason, Dr. Eve Ewing broke them up. So we don't really have, other than the high school love of Miles Morales and whoever he's dealing with, we don't have any Black love. And by that, I mean long-lasting relationships between two either one powered, one not, or two double-powered people. Clark Kent and Lois Lane. Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson. You have all these white couples who've been together forever, but we don't have it in the Black space. And hopefully going forward, Jefferson Pierce will be together with his wife. They've been divorced, but it seems like in this book, he's laid the groundwork for them to get back together. With all due respect, nobody cares about Bumblebee and Guardian. Let's just be clear about that. I mean, yes, they've been together for 50 years since their days in the Teen Titans, but nobody really thinks of them,
There's a more important issue with regard to this issue, and I had mentioned all this in the interview with Brandon earlier this week. DC missed a great opportunity here. If I were to go to you, Mark, and say, what's the foremost superhero family in Marvel, who would you say?
And Marvel is the Fantastic Four without question.
Exactly. DC had the opportunity to make their own Fantastic Four. You just finished an absolute power storyline in which random people got superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
They could have given Lynn Stewart superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
And with the advent of them coming back together, Lynn and Jeff Pierce getting back together, you would have a Black Fantastic Four at DC Comics, and it costs you nothing to do that.
Yeah.
Because the storyline is already there. People are randomly getting powers. Anissa, her power is already messed up as a result of the absolute power storyline. It stands to reason her mom could have gotten powers as well, and you've got yourself a Fantastic Four in DC Comics just like that.
Hell, Mary Jane Watson over in Marvel has powers now. You know what I'm saying? Even though her and Peter aren't together in main continuity, but a random, non-powered person now has powers. And like to piggyback off what Paul said, you could have done this in DC. I mean, it's a shame. It is tragic. And I don't understand why people don't respect and want Black love. Over on the interwebs, on Twitter specifically, you'll see a lot of people supposedly Black. I am a Titans fan myself, Bo Biggs, but come on, Bumblebee, Guardian, let's be real. But, a lot of people don't want Storm and T'Challa together, and I just don't understand it. It baffles me that they don't. And they come up with these narratives as if he were some bad, abusive husband, like he was Chris Brown or something. I don't get it. They created this
nowhere in the comics. The people that make the comics about it being a toxic relationship, he being an abusive husband, him not appreciating Storm, you clearly have not read the comics.
Right. They created this whole headcanon that is not based on reality or what's actually happened in the books. So yeah.
He who shall not be named. The other history of the DC universe had a compelling narrative regarding Jefferson Pierce, as well as Mal Duncan and Karen Bumblebee, updating their sagas.
I have that.
It was nuanced and entertaining. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I do not like He Who Shall Not Be Named's run on Black Panther, as I've said. I think he should never write another Black Panther story ever again. He's lost that right. But that being said, I've never said he's a bad writer. Right. He was a bad writer on Black Panther, correct, but he's not a bad writer. His other history of the DC universe was excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. I had the poster for that hanging above my head. If you look at older lives that we did, I had the poster hanging up there for about a year or two. I was such a big fan of that run. But yeah, those are Black super love is just something that we don't get a lot of in an ongoing, continuous basis in comics.
And all due respect to Miles,
the only ongoing series of Black super love that we have in comics right now is Miles Morales and Tiana Toombs.
Which is what I was getting ready to get to, is that all due respect to that, they're teenagers. Nobody expects 15, 16-year-olds to get married when they graduate high school and be together for the next 70, 80 years. It's teenage puppy love. So to me, with all due respect to Cody Ziegler and that, it doesn't count. I want to see adult, mature relationships. For the past 60 years, we've seen Reed and Sue go through all manner of trials and tribulations as a couple, from parenthood to spousal situations. You're not going to have that with teenagers, right? So it would have been great for writers to continue the relationship with Storm and Black Panther. And, I've said many, many times that I did not like the Ta-Nehisi Coates run, but I give him props and respect for how he was bringing them back together, only for it to be just disintegrated by He Who Shall Not Be Named. But
Pericles asked, what about Sam Wilson and Misty Knight? They're not together, but they are still together.
They are together.
But what I said was in an ongoing, continuous series.
Right.
He's currently on a Team Book Avengers. She hasn't shown up yet.
No. Well, she showed up during the Blood Hunt storyline.
We talked about the Avengers series.
Right. No, I understand that. I understand that. But she showed up during Blood Hunt. But I don't recall, like Paul is saying, I don't recall her appearing in Avengers. And there are no scenes with them together dealing with the fact that they're in a relationship with each other. We've not seen that in the Avengers as of yet. Does he have an ongoing right now?
No. Well,
Okay.
yes, he does.
Yes.
I don't know if it's ongoing or limited. I think it's
a limited series. There is a book, and it hasn't come out in a while. But yes, he does. I don't recall her appearing in that. I do remember the last volume where she made an appearance when they were fighting.
She was at the cookout.
But she appeared when Sam and Steve were going up against what's his name? Not White Tiger. What's my guy's name? T'Challa's half brother, step brother, adopted brother.
White Wolf.
White Wolf. Yes, she showed up then, but we don't have many issues with them together dealing with the fact that they are supposedly in a relationship, in love with each other, and that's what's missing.
Yeah. All right, so let's go into our next series.
Here's what I have. Justice League, the Atom Project. Now, I understand that he who shall not be named is really rarely named here. However, like Paul just said mere moments ago, he is not a bad writer. He was a horrible, horrific, horrendous Black Panther writer. But in other things, he is not bad. I'm probably one of the few comic book collectors, specifically Black collectors, who like Captain Atom. Love Captain Atom. I have most of his Volume 2 series. There is a new series, Justice League, the Atom Project, that deals with that Captain Atom that is written by he who shall not be named, and it is actually really good. Again, this is dealing with the fallout of the Absolute Power storyline where Amanda Waller took over the world. Everybody lost, all the superheroes lost their powers. Random people are getting them. This book deals with that, and it deals with Atom, who has his powers, but he wants to get rid of them because he thinks that they're too dangerous for anybody to have. This dude is almost driven to the path of suicide because he doesn't feel that anybody should have these abilities. And automatically what comes to mind is that scene from the classic Spike Lee movie, who went to Morehouse, by the way, where Malcolm X is outside the police station and one of the police inside is like, no one man should have all that power, in reference to Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam and the Fruit of Islam. Well, that's pretty much what Captain Atom feels. He feels that no one person should have all of this power that he has. He's that dude. Captain Atom is that dude. He can pretty much go toe-to-toe with Superman, who, we all know is probably the premier superhero on planet Earth in the DC universe. We understand that during the Justice League comic cartoon, that Superman beat him in the bowels of the Cadmus research facility or whatever. But Captain Atom is one of the more powerful superheroes on planet Earth. You have the two Atoms. You have Captain Atom, who is the guy in the big guy, and then you have the Atoms. Their power set is they're much like Hank Pym, where they can shrink down to the size of an atom. Both of them are scientists. They're trying to help people get control of their powers. They're trying to give powers back to the people who they belong to and all of that stuff. This is a really good book. I love the art. I love the story. Cannot recommend this book enough. It is really good. I don't like what that dude did over on Black Panther, but in this book, in this series, it is very good. So I am recommending Justice League, the Atom Project. And this is issue number 3.
Let's go to our next book that I'm going to show you here, which is Deadpool number 12. This is a crossover storyline. Shout out to our boy Cody Ziegler, who is writing both Deadpool and Miles Morales. So of course you do a crossover. When you're writing two of the hottest books on the shelves, you have them do a crossover. Understand, for context, what's going on with Miles Morales. He just came back from Wakanda after the Blood Hunt, written by Jed McKay. Miles Morales was a vampire. He had vampiric powers. He went to T'Challa. T'Challa showed up, said, I'm going to help you out. First of all, I'm going to give you a new suit. It's made out of vibranium. It's got a bunch of cool gadgets in it. It'll help you regulate your powers and keep the vampiric thirst at bay, and you can be Spider-Man again. Cool. Then T'Challa said, if you really want to be cured the way I was cured, you got to come back to Wakanda. Bast cured me. I'm sure she'll give you the hookup because we boys and everything. Let's go do it. Brings old boy back to Wakanda. Goes to Bast. Sure, he's like, I don't think it's a good idea, T'Challa. Bast don't like, outsiders. This is a bad idea. T'Challa's like, it'd be cool, But Bast and I are mad cool now. After the whole blood hunt thing, I went on a little mission for her. I proved my worth. She said I was a champion. She gave me heart-shaped herb. We're cool. She'll do whatever I ask. Bast was not pleased. How dare you bring an outsider, particularly one of my brother Anansi's heralds, to me to cure. I don't want to deal with anything my brother has to deal with. And Miles is like, your brother? Anansi's your brother? Wait, what do you mean I'm his herald? What the hell does that mean? Nancy pops up. Oh, Miles, my champion. He's like, champion? What are you talking about? I want you to be my champion. My sister Bast has a champion in T'Challa. I want my own champion as well. I have heralds. He's got a whole webverse. All these spider people are his heralds for the most part. But doesn't have a champion. So he wants his own champion. He puts Miles Morales, long story short, through trials. He gets over the trials, and as a result, he's cured of his vampirism by Anansi. Goes back to New York. Deadpool has a daughter named Ellie, Hispanic girl. Deadpool dies, comes back. He's got a lot of debt, needs to make money. Takes a contract to kill Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Tries to shoot and kill Miles. Ellie, his daughter, has met Miles in Miles's run a few issues ago, and she likes Miles. She thinks he's cool. And she's like, Dad, I really don't feel comfortable with this. I don't want you killing Spider-Man. He seems like kind of a cool guy. She knocks the gun away. Deadpool actually shoots Miles' clone instead, not unbeknownst to him. Long story short, Miles is trying to figure out what to do with them, whether to trust them or not. Big bad attacks at the same time, and they got to do some stuff. But it was a dope issue. Lots of action. Cody Ziegler, in my opinion, first of all, he's done a fantastic job with Miles Morales. He's giving him his own rogues gallery, which is huge because it takes him out of being the Black Peter Parker and being his own separate character and his own separate entity when you give him his own unique rogues gallery. And Cody Ziegler has been doing that. He's also separating his power set and background away from Peter's, right? He's giving him this energy powers sword that he has.
Can he
He's
turn
now
invisible
made him
too?
What?
Can he turn invisible too?
He can turn invisible. But that was before Cody Ziegler. And also is now talking about he's now Anansi's champion. Anansi follows him around. Like no one else can see him but Miles, but he's following Miles around and trying to develop new stories because he is the trickster story god. And he's using his champion to develop new stories. So he's following him around. So it's really cool. But Cody Ziegler, in my opinion, actually writes Deadpool even better. Like he gets the voice of Deadpool. It's funny.
I have a question about Deadpool.
Yeah.
I thought Deadpool was immortal because he and Lady Death had a thing where she would not accept him or basically allowed him to be immortal. So how did he die?
I don't know. That was before. I don't know. I don't remember how he died.
Okay. But there's a point in time.
It was a Marvel death, though. It lasted like 2 issues.
Well, no, I understand that, but for most of you guys probably know that Thanos, the Mad Titan, has had an infatuation with Lady Death forever, which led to the Infinity Gauntlet saga, a long time ago. Thanos was jealous of Deadpool because for whatever reason, Lady Death liked Deadpool, but spurned Thanos. And she basically said, Deadpool is immortal. So I'm kind of wondering how that came about. But you said you don't know, so okay.
If anybody knows, I read the new Herculoids. No, I haven't read it. My man Rich has read it. I haven't read it.
No, I am collecting Space Ghost, though, but I have seen it. I am collecting Space Ghost, which is very good, by the way.
Next issue. Let me close this out. Give me 1 second. Oh, here we go. This has been a really good series. I hope all of you are collecting it because it is legitimately and objectively good. And that is Green Lantern Corps. This Green Lantern Corps series is genuinely objectively good. From the writing to the art. The art is fantastic. Let me see who the artist is. It is co-written by Morgan Hampton and Jerry Adams. The penciler is Fernando Pasarin. Inks by Eau Claire Albert. This team, fantastic job on the artwork. Absolutely love this art, man.
I like that cover. I like that cover. Oh, I like that.
Let's see.
I like that. That's cute.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Sojourner Mullen.
You know who she always looks like to me is Janelle Monáe.
Janelle Monáe, yes.
Yep.
That's what she was modeled after.
Yep. This one has a lot of variants.
And here's the other thing. Quiet as kept. It's the blackest Green Lantern run, or definitely the black and brownest Green Lantern run of all time. Here's the thing. Green Lanterns are cops. They're space cops. That's what I like about them. There's no one Green Lantern. They're cops. They're Corps. This book is a Green Lantern Corps book. So it's about them as a group of space cops. And you can tell just by this cover alone, you got John Stewart, Sojourner Mullen, Jessica Cruz. You got Kelly, the Teen Lantern, Kyle Rayner, who's got a Hispanic background. This is a mostly black and brown team.
Don't forget Guy Gardner. Don't forget the ginger.
The ginger's guy, he doesn't really count. But yes, and Simon Baz, who's not listed on this cover. But that's the team that they're focusing on.
Yeah.
That's the core they're focusing on. Without being quote unquote wokish, that the fanboys like to use that term. But it's just good. It's well written, and the art is spectacular. This is a dope series. They're picking up where the other Green Lantern. So Oa was destroyed. The Guardians gone. The Green Lantern Corps is being rebuilt. The emotional spectrum for various lanterns. A couple of lantern spectrums are gone. Like the Red Lanterns, gone. I think the Fear Lanterns, the Yellow Lanterns, gone. Certain aspects of the emotional spectrum are gone. And as a result, the Green Lanterns have taken some of these other lanterns from other colors in, because the Green Lantern's power is based on will. And will can be a little bit more flexible and universal when it comes to these other emotional spectrum lantern powers. If your will is strong enough, despite the fact that your primary driver may be fear or anger or what have you, if your will is strong enough, you can become a Green Lantern as well. And so they've ended up recruiting other Green Lanterns. Mark, you watched that Green Lantern cartoon series from several years ago.
Phenomenal.
Right?
And it was canceled prematurely.
That was a great series. Great series.
It did not sell toys, which is the reason why it was canceled, but it was great.
It was an absolutely fantastic series. It was great to introduce you to the Green Lantern universe. I learned a lot about what I know about the Green Lanterns from that. That's what got me interested more into collecting more Green Lantern comics. You you have characters like Atrocitus in this series. You've got what's his name? The Red Lantern guy, the hothead kid. I can't remember his name, but he's in this series.
Oh, yeah, right, yes. And then he also had the blue power, so he had two different spectrums in him towards the end of that Green Lantern series.
Sinestro is back, and he's a Green Lantern again.
Yep.
Jessica Cruz is back from being a Yellow Lantern. She's a Green Lantern, and she's the captain of the Green Lantern Corps now. So it's just a really great series. I can't say enough about it. I really highly recommend the Green Lantern Corps.
Okay, so here's a question that I have for the chat. It's a twofold question.
And yes, Hal Jordan is still a Green Lantern. He has his own series.
So for this current generation, for those folks who are under 35 years old, Hal Jordan means nothing. The Green Lantern for that generation is John Stewart, because as Paul and I have said 2 weeks ago, how a lot of people got involved or interested in comic books was through cartoons, and understand that John Stewart was part of the Justice League. So that's the main Green Lantern that a lot of younger folks were first introduced to. But here's my two-part question. There is a Green Lantern Corps over in DC. In Marvel, there is the Nova Corps. Who would win in a battle between the Green Lanterns and the Novas? Second part of that question. If you take one Green Lantern against Quasar, who would win?
That's the name of the Red Lantern.
Razor. Who would win that battle between a quantum band user and a Green Lantern? That's something I'm interested to see what people think, because Quasar can do literally the same thing with the quantum bands that Green Lanterns can do with their rings. Create these constructs and things of that nature. So Marwan thinks the Lanterns beat the Novas. Okay.
Yeah, I think the Lanterns beat the Novas. There's nothing that the Novas can do that, quite frankly, the Green Lanterns can't do, and the Green Lanterns can do more because their power is only limited by their imagination and will. Now, the quantum bands is a little different because it's basically the same type of thing.
They're literally the same thing. They can do the same thing. So if you think as a group, a label, and a crew, the Lanterns can beat the Novas on a one-on-one basis, what about Quasar, Wendell Vaughn versus any random Green Lantern? How do you think that battle goes?
Yeah,
that's something I'm curious about. Okay,
all right, so that was the other series. The next book,
the next one I have is Moon Man.
Moon Man, you want to do Moon Man? I could do that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, talk about it. I'll pull it up.
So we're on issue 7, I believe, of Moon Man. The artist in this issue is different than the artist in the other ones because it's
what? Wait, back up. Show me the art from the book. Pull that up on the screen. Because I stopped collecting this like an issue or two ago, specifically because I just could not get
the art was hectic. It was not. It didn't flow. So this is the art.
Hold on, let me bring you up. Hold on.
Okay, so this is the art in issue 7, right?
Okay.
And it's clearer, it makes more sense, but I do not like this style. The artist in this issue is clearly different.
Is he listed as a guest artist?
I don't know. I'm gonna look right
at the credits.
Now. But the way that I would describe the art up until this point has been frenetic. The story that Kid Cudi had crafted was a pretty solid story. I liked Moon Man, but the art, you just really couldn't understand what was going on the panels. I did not like it at all. The art in this one is different. I'll say better. The art is from Federico Bertoni in this one.
But is it listed as the artist or guest artist?
It says art Federico Bertoni.
I might pick it up again if there's a different artist, because that's why I stopped collecting it. Was the art was just so
the
damn
art was
bad.
bad. You know, obviously the guy can do better than either one of us can, but it just wasn't good in comparison to the literally thousands of books that we've read. This story and this issue was probably the weakest of them. I wasn't a fan of this issue at all. I'm just going to be honest. Overall, 1 through 6, from a story perspective, it was good. It was solid. The art was the downfall of it. This book is hit and miss. I'm just going to be straight with you. The art previously wasn't good. The story in this specific issue wasn't necessarily the best. The art was different, but it wasn't. I'm not a fan of this art either. Let me see if you can.
Amir says the art hurt his feelings.
Hey, yeah, it just, the art in this book isn't. It's better than what's before, but I don't like this style at all.
Yeah,
Not a fan of it.
I hate, and the story was halfway decent. I mean,
story 1 through 6
enjoyed
was
the
good.
story. I couldn't get past the art. It was just so.
It wasn't.
It was distracting. It was so bad.
Yeah.
All right. So what else we got?
Powerman, Timeless.
All right, let's go to that.
I'm liking this book. So in Powerman Timeless, this seems to be an alt-war story where Luke Cage is pretty much immortal. And along with his unbreakable skin, it seems that he has the power of the Hulk, the Sentry, and somebody else who I cannot remember. The Iron Fist. He's got the power of Iron Fist. He's OP, as they say. He's OP. I am enjoying the story. I do like the art. I do recommend this book. I don't know. I'm assuming this is going to be a limited series, maybe 3 to 5 issues. I am enjoying this. At the end of this issue, he's going to be going up against a big bad who we know from main continuity. But this is a good story. I am enjoying this. So I do.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty epic. The world, a lot of his heroes and friends have died. His family's died, but he's really crazy OP. He's got the powers. He said his own Luke Cage power of the Iron Fist, power of the Hulk, and the power of Sentry and the Void all in one. There's been no more powerful being like ever in terms of superheroes. And the feats that he does are significant. Huh?
I froze for a second.
Oh,
go ahead.
Yeah, the feats that he does are really significant.
Right.
He's fighting against this guy, which is another cosmic powered being. He's trying to reason with him. He could probably just vaporize the dude, but he's actually trying to reason with him, say, let's work this out. I know you got beef with me. I'm not that bad a guy, etc. I lost my family, and I'm not, X this, that, or that. But he's also kind of sad because he's lost his family. He lost all his friends.
Yeah, he's immortal. He's like, the last of the human race almost. It's a touching.
It's a sad story. It's a sad story. I mean, it's like you've got all this power, but what's all that power when you don't have your family and
loved
your friends?
ones? And speaking of black love, we were talking about that a moment ago. Luke Cage is with Jessica Jones. They have a kid together. I don't really recall if they're married or not in Marvel 616, but he's currently the mayor of New York. They have a daughter. All due respect, that's not black love. I'm happy that he's happy, but that's not a sister, So just something to think about.
Yeah. But definitely a good series. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this, yes.
Let's see what else we had. I know there was another one I wanted to talk about.
That was my last book. So now we can, delve into the comments.
Off the cuff I wanted to talk about, which is this one. I just want to mention it briefly. Because we did a lot of Marvel and DC stuff, didn't do any indie stuff, and Bronze Faces. This is by the brothers Shobo and Shof, who did a previous series called Time. What was it called again? Crap. Why can't I remember the Coker brothers? They did. That's going to bother me. I'm sorry. I got to look it up. New Masters.
You know, so this is good because I had that issue, whatever the one on the bottom right is. I had it in my I had it in my box, and I asked my comic book guy about it. He could never tell me about it, so I was like, "Okay, just go ahead and put it back."
So a couple weeks ago, we interviewed Vida Ayala and talked about their series Finders Keepers, which talks about a young Puerto Rican woman who works for a museum and decides to try and steal back the artifacts that have been stolen from indigenous populations throughout the world and give them back to those countries. Bronze Faces has a very similar premise. Takes place in I want to say it's Nigeria. And there's some art, specifically some art from this one guy's father, his collection that has been taken away, and he's had an appreciation for art. But he's at this museum. Hey, let's steal this stuff back and give it back to our people.
Like Killmonger at the beginning of Black Panther.
Very much so. How did you acquire these pieces of art that you have in this museum? Well, you stole it. You didn't acquire it through honest means. You stole it. So let's steal it back. So he has a group of friends and they're out trying to steal this stuff back. It's just an original story. The art may not be as good as some people may want. I mean, I don't know. It's you either like it or you don't.
So it's not Capes and Cows type stuff.
It's not Capes and Cows. It's not Capes and Cows. It's a heist book. It's about a heist, stealing art back. So it's a different type of book. It probably would do even better as like a graphic novel. So if you want to wait until it comes out as a trade and read it all as one shot, that probably might be a way to read it as well. But I'm supporting it. I'm doing my pre-orders on it because I like stuff that's a little off the beaten path. That's still good. It's well written, and I thought the art's dope. And Bronze Faces, I recommend it.
Cool. So let's go to the comments.
All right, let's check out the comments. Eclectic Birdie says Luke and Jess are married. Okay. I think he explained his feelings on that. Need that too. Yeah, Buckhead was another series they did. Dope series. I collected that. I got the new one too. Book looks wild. Yes, it was. All right. We had some other topics that we're going to talk about that you had sent me stuff on, right?
Well, just basically what you're watching.
What you watching? All right, let's get to it. What you watching? What are you watching? I don't get to watch nearly as much television as Marc does because I don't have as much free time as he has. So I really, just like how Marc relies on me to tell him about the new comics coming out, I rely on him to tell me what's good to watch on TV.
Right. So several years ago, the basketball team, the LA Clippers, were at the time owned by a guy by the name of Donald Sterling and his wife. Donald Sterling was dealing with this much younger woman who was his side piece, sugar baby, mistress, however you want to say it, who, for whatever reason, the way it was portrayed in the series, it's a limited series of about six episodes that came out, I want to say last year. Her name was something Steviano, Viv Stefiano, whatever her name was. But she released these tapes that were recorded of him talking to her, where he's basically saying, you know, he doesn't like black people hanging around her, even though she's part black. And it became a really literal big thing in our real world. This is based on a true story. The series stars Lawrence Fishburne as Doc Rivers. It stars who played Al Bundy? Help me out. I can't think right now. The actor who played Al Bundy plays Donald Sterling. It's a very interesting look into what happened during that time. As I said, it's 6 episodes. It's a very, very quick watch. For whatever reason, they have LeVar Burton in the series playing himself as somewhat of a confidant to Doc Rivers' character. Now, I don't know if that's based on reality or not. Doc Rivers, the real Doc Rivers, the former basketball player and NBA coach, was a consultant, I believe, on this series. So I don't know how true to life their relationship was between he and LeVar Burton, aka Geordie LaForge on Star Trek for my generation, Kunta Kinte from Roots. But it's entertaining, and let me just say, if it's anywhere near true to life for what actually happened, that chick was a moron. She was just absolutely stupid. And a lot of the younger generation are so enamored, thanks to Kim Kardashian, with trying to acquire fame, no matter what you do, no matter how you get it. And that's basically what she did. She had this relationship with this billionaire NBA owner who was married. She was recording him surreptitiously. He said a bunch of crazy things, and then she just released it. It makes no sense why she would do that. You know, she killed the golden goose for whatever reason. She was a moron the way she was portrayed. Just somebody who really wanted fame. But it's a very entertaining series. You have all of these actors playing the real life NBA players. In fact, the actor who plays Chris Paul is the same guy who is in P-Valley. P-Valley is a show about a strip club based here in Georgia. Paul got mad at me because he's the one who put me onto that show, but he got mad at me several years ago when I tagged him in a post on Facebook when I was on there, because I mentioned how good it was, because it's basically about strippers. That's what the show is about. And he didn't want people to know that he watched a show about strippers for whatever reason. But he plays the actor who plays. Yes, you did.
You're taking it completely out of context.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
I'm going to get into it, but you're being silly.
I'm not. But the guy who plays Chris Paul plays a gay character in P-Valley, and he plays that role really well, to the point that he's kissing on another dude. All due respect to the LGBTQ community. If I was an actor, I couldn't do that. But this dude is married. In real life, the actor is married. Now, I want to say he's got kids, but he played the hell of that role. He also plays a convincing Chris Paul. So I'm just giving this actor props. I don't know his name, but I'm giving him his props because he's playing two different roles that's convincing. It's an interesting series to see what happened at that time because of this whole thing. Donald Sterling was actually forced to sell his team, and he netted $2 billion with the beat. $2 billion. He bought the Clippers back like in the 60s for $12 million, sold it for $2 billion, a 6,000% increase. So yeah, it's an interesting series. So that's what I was watching. The series Paradise, which I've mentioned here before, ended about a week or so ago, 8 episodes. If you have not seen Paradise on Hulu, highly, highly recommend that series. But yeah, so that's pretty much it.
Paradise is, I think, the best show on television for me. It's 8 episode series. Episode 7 was phenomenal television that I hope deserves an Emmy.
Yeah.
Storyline, without giving any spoilers, is about a Secret Service agent
who's protecting the president.
Who's protecting the president and fails at his job.
The president is played by
he has
James
to figure
Marsden.
out who killed the president and why.
Spoilers.
Without, I could not tell you anything more about the series because it would be a complete spoiler.
Yeah, and the series watching. The series has been out for 2 or 3 months now, and you may very well know that part of it, but it's a very, very good series. Now, here's what's interesting. I put a post on the Twitters the other day about who do you think is the better actor, and the 4 actors that I chose was Robert Downey Jr., Leo DiCaprio, Johnny Depp, and Sterling K. Brown. I mentioned Sterling K. Brown because I think he is a very, very good actor. For me, the thing about Sterling K. Brown is that when he plays a role, I see Sterling K. Brown playing this particular role. For example, Sterling K. Brown as a Secret Service agent. In Marshall, he was Sterling K. Brown as a guy charged with a crime. I never watched This Is Us. He was Sterling K. Brown as T'Chaka's brother, etc., etc. But he is a great, great actor. But for me, he never disappears in a role. So my question for the chat is this. Between the 4 actors of Johnny Depp, Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert Downey Jr., and Sterling K. Brown, who do you guys feel is the best actor out of those 4 specifically? I like Sterling K. Brown's work. For me personally, it's a toss-up between Johnny Depp and Leo DiCaprio, with the nod mainly going to Johnny. Because when he plays a role, he disappears into a role. None of his performances are ever the same. The guy that he played in Black Mass is not the guy he played in Sweeney Todd. So I'm just curious to see what people think.
Q's to you says, as a Clippers fan, I hated that series, but I understand.
There's an actual Clipper fan. Dig that.
What is that?
What is that now?
Yeah, I don't have much time to watch television.
Paradise is coming back. Yes, Paradise was renewed for a season 2, and I'm looking forward to it.
I need to see
the Jackal was phenomenal. Jackal was really, really good. Lashana Lynch.
You hated the ending of that show.
Okay, so guys, this is going to be a spoiler. All right, the Jackal.
I haven't watched the show yet. Why would you spoil it?
Then take your headphones out, and then I'll give you the thumbs up when you can listen again. But the Jackal has been out now for 4 months. So if you have not watched it, that's on you. But the Jackal is about an assassin. And Lashana Lynch, who played in 007, who played 007 in the last James Bond movie. She was also Monica Rambeau's mother. She is fine. She was in The Woman King. Beautiful, beautiful woman Lashana Lynch is. She plays a member of MI6 who's trying to hunt down this assassin played by Eddie Redmayne. Eddie Redmayne is the Jackal. It's about 6, maybe 8 episodes. A phenomenal series. The guy, the assassin, he's brilliant. He's always 5 steps ahead of the people who are trying to capture him. The reason why I did not like the final episode is because he made a lot of mistakes that he would not have made, that he did not make episodes 1 through 7. So it didn't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, for those of us who watched, not Lord of the Rings, but Game of Thrones. For those of us who watched Game of Thrones, seasons 1 through 7, phenomenal. Season 8 sucked, you know? So that's all I will say about that. Yeah. The Jackal is a very, 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 very good series. No, it doesn't. Yes. Come on, Pericles. Yes, you can watch it. I didn't give any spoilers. You can come on back. So, yeah.
Other series that got a lot of accolades was
Daredevil is good, but the courtroom scenes have sucked.
Oh my God. I've been waiting to talk about this with you. So Mark and I are attorneys as our day jobs. People ask me all the time, do you like watching all these attorney shows? Do you watch that attorney show? I actually don't watch a lot of attorney shows. I have not.
Yeah.
I think that the last series of attorney shows I watched I thought was good quality was The Practice. Not because it emulated what attorneys really did. It was just great fiction as to what attorneys would like to do.
But you weren't actually an attorney at that time, because Paul and I weren't.
Yes, it was.
How long did that show run? Actually, you may have been. You were early on in your career. So when the practice started, I was in law school. Paul was a couple of years ahead of me. The practice and Ally McBeal were the shows of the late 90s, the mid to late 90s, right? They were shows that were based on lawyers. I really, really enjoyed the practice a lot. But I was an attorney at that time. I haven't watched it in 25, 26 years. Now being on this side of it, being an actual trial attorney, watching certain things is, as the youngsters say, cringe. Every time I watch Daredevil in a courtroom scene, it is fucking cringe because the things that he does flies in the face of actual practice. I don't know who their, advisor is when it comes to legal stuff, but whoever that person is needs to be fired because the stuff that he does would not, could not, should not be done during an actual trial. I mean, this dude is cross-examining a witness. Hold on. This dude is cross-examining a witness. And in the middle of cross-examining a witness, he goes on a 5-minute monologue to the jury. I'm like, where the hell is the question? It's, oh my God, it's bad.
Yeah, you can't do that in real life. Here's the thing that people don't get. Trials are not won in the courtroom. Trials are actually won outside the courtroom with depositions and discovery and getting documents together, going over the testimony of your witnesses ahead of time. Gotcha moments like you see in the courtroom dramas in movies and television, they don't really happen as often as you might think because it happens out of preparation.
I disagree with that because Paul's practice in Florida is different than Georgia because in Georgia, in criminal trials, we do not do depositions in criminal trials in Georgia. And I found that interesting that in criminal trials in Florida, they do depositions. So for witnesses in a criminal trial, you get to interview them as a prosecutor or a defense attorney, swear them in under oath and see what they think they're going to say. Up here in Georgia, what you're stuck with is what you ask them on the stand in front of a jury. So that's the difference. So that's why
that's the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, in Florida we have open discovery, so you're allowed to do depositions of witnesses. You can't depose the defendant, obviously, because they have the right to remain silent. But everyone else you can take depositions of. So for the most part, when you put somebody on the stand, you know what they're going to say.
What they're supposed to say.
What the Daredevil did in this series is he thought he was losing the case. And so he says he introduces this piece. I'm not going to spoil it, but he introduces this bombshell.
He does something to help
that no one
win.
expects him to do.
Right.
It flies in the face of what makes sense, but then he's got to back it up. So then what you see is the next scene that you see is him bringing all these witnesses on to support his theory, and in reality, you would have had those witnesses lined up already.
And the prosecution would have had to have known about those witnesses.
Oh, correct. The prosecutor would have known about the witnesses. You would have had to have listed them as witnesses. You would have had to question them to know what their testimony is and prep them to testify properly. And they would have had to have been subpoenaed ahead of time so they could get clearances with their jobs to show up. A whole bunch of stuff would have had to happen before that.
And another thing that he did was he's sitting up here reading police reports to the jury, and you just can't do that. As lawyers, from a lawyer perspective, the show sucks. As a comic book fan, when it comes to the action, and there hasn't quite frankly been a lot of action, especially in the last episode, it's been okay. Vincent D'Onofrio is an extremely underrated actor. I don't know if you guys realize this, and it took me forever to realize this, that Vincent D'Onofrio is the same dude who played Thor in Adventures in Babysitting and is the same guy who was in Full Metal Jacket and who was also Edgar in Men in Black. Vincent D'Onofrio does not get the flowers that he deserves because he's an extremely, extremely good actor. With all due respect to him, though, I think Michael Clark Duncan was a better Kingpin, but Vincent D'Onofrio is a very good actor.
Yeah.
But I am enjoying the series. All that aside, my legal criticism aside, I do enjoy the series. I've always enjoyed Daredevil. Now, did you go back?
Amir says
Did you go back
people
and rewatch the other seasons, the previous seasons, or no?
I rewatched a couple of them. People that saw the whole season say this is the best MCC show ever. I still don't see it. After 3 episodes, they have some work to do because right now Daredevil is just okay.
I agree with that. I can agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, the original Netflix show was still better, in my opinion, so far. It had more action in it.
Yes.
This
Courtroom scenes aside.
this one is more about Matt Murdock than it is about Daredevil.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll get better.
And I wish we had more
Hype says, great show so far. Viva El Tigre Blanco. Writers need to consult with Black Comic Lords for their legal expertise on the next season.
Listen, I don't know when the last time Paul doesn't do criminal law at this point. I do. So yeah, they need somebody who actually actively practices criminal law in New York to advise them, because the stuff that they have him do is just horrible.
I was just about to say that, Mark.
Yeah.
That was crazy how he had that litany.
Right. They were just there.
Sense.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
It really does not work that way.
The coordination that you have to have when trying a case in order to get your witnesses there. You got to juggle all these different balls, and when you're going to call them, it doesn't come into place as easily as they're trying to make it seem. The courtroom scene in Daredevil from seasons 1 and 2 just sucked. The action, the comic book aspect of it, great. Courtroom stuff, not so much.
Right. All right.
Hey, hold on real quick. How many lawyers do we have in Marvel? We've got Jennifer Walters. We've got Matt Murdock. Is there anybody else that you can think of? We got a lot of PhDs out there. But how many lawyers other than those two? If you guys can think of anybody else other than Matt Murdock and Jen Walters, let us know. Because I can't. Those are the only two I can think of off the top of my head. A lot of PhDs. So that just shows that if you're trying to get your PhD, you're probably going to be evil.
Matt went from, oh my God, my key witness isn't going to show up to we got 8 more key witnesses.
Right. It was not good.
Yeah, that scene did not make sense.
Good.
And that was the whole episode.
Foggy Nelson, yeah.
All right. I think that's it. I think that's the show.
Yeah. It's 2.5 hours. Pretty good. Guys, as always, thank you for joining us on a Friday night when you could be doing anything else. A lot of you guys seem like you need to go out and hit the clubs as thirsty as you guys have been over Tiana and Rihanna. But make sure that you hit the like and subscribe buttons. Thank you once again for joining us. And that's pretty much it.
There's something else. What do we have coming up this week? I honestly don't remember. I think we've got someone else we're interviewing on Wednesday, but I don't remember, so don't hold me to that. But anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you. As Mark said, please hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. The hitting the like is really helpful for us. It helps the channel grow, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers before the end of the year. That's kind of a goal we have for ourselves. So please help us with that.
Real quick, Damon, if you're still with us right now, you got to hit me up because I have a genuine question that I need to ask you. So if you're still with us, ATL Blurred on Instagram and Twitter, hit me up there. So, yeah.
All right. Until next time, Black Comic Lords, we got you.
Later.